Right, hello everybody, hello. Welcome to your final off-season event of 2026 before we get on to the main season at hand with all your regular events. I am Greg, your co-host for the evening, also known as the Wufapa in the server. I engage in a lot of the racing, as you might know. Loyal Patreon member and have been with FRL for a good while. You may have remember me from a few seasons gone by, commentating over Super Sprint Sunday with a good friend Owen Harris, and then just after that for a singular season with Jack Prentice, who did the admirable job of taking over Sprint Sunday all by himself and providing some great action. But the action we're concerned ourselves with this evening is the 3 hours of the Hungaroring. Now, you think that might be quite a long time to sit on a quite nice, tight, windy track like this, but we have spiced it up with a mandatory pit stop, with mandatory 15-minute stint lengths, and, as you can see, with a multi-class of GT2 and GT4 cars. So, plenty to whet your appetite with. We're expecting a lot of confusion, obviously, how to manage pit stops, the lapping traffic, driver changeovers. If you've been sleeping under a rock, you may not know that qualifying has already happened, and that is already set. I have those results for you in just a moment. But a bit of housekeeping first. We are going to get a few guests in, hopefully. Mr. Gordon Brown, good solid admin of ours, is going to come in for a chat, maybe drop some extra knowledge about the event, and maybe what's to come, and obviously all your official starting dates for the Taco Sprint Sunday season and so on. But yeah, we are FRL. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe if you continue watching and like the content. It helps us, the league, out an awful lot, and obviously helps you see a lot of exciting racing as it occurs. So FRL is a fantastic large community, very regular full grids, as you can see with this one, very, very well attended. We run ACC, Assetto Corsa, what else do we do? We do iRacing, I believe we've done some EA WRC as well, Le Mans Ultimate. Basically, if there's a single thing online that is sim racing connected, FRL has got you covered for most days of the week. So many of our events are live streamed like this one, with vast amounts of other commentators on both console and PC. And if you're already here and already enjoying the content, can't help but notice that so many of you don't actually like and subscribe to the stream. So if you're an avid follower of the streams, do make sure you subscribe. We don't want you to miss it, and also, help out your community. And for those of you that already are doing that, you can go one step further. You can engage in our Patreon, starting at just £3 a month, and a few different packages as you go up the ladder. And that gives you a whole host of perks and benefits. Gives you early access to events. It lets you secure your very special driver number. If you have a special driver number, mine's either number 11 or number 32. I like to reserve, and you get priority access to all the events. So all these special events you get. So say, obviously, you get early access to this one this evening, this fantastic event. If you wanted to get involved, nobody can undercut you. You are a Patreon member. Wouldn't that be great? And obviously, events like this help. Patreon subscriptions ultimately help pay for all the content as well, covering broadcasters like myself, or the admins and all their work, and obviously server maintenance, etc. So if you want to, if you don't mind the benefits, obviously it's always great to support your local sim racing community. But we are clicking and counting down for our pre-practice session, and I'm just going to quickly go through your qualifying results from the back. So the GT4s are typically more nimble and will typically be slower in the straight, but typically will manage their tyres better and be more agile. I'm just going to quickly go to the top there. So as you can see on the screen, I'll go from the bottom. So we had the Greasy Bandits racing team starting last in the GT4s, followed by Mia Motorsports with Chris Gedman starting there. I will go through the full all the drivers in the teams when I get a moment. P20 is Team RCR with Jay Winton. True Racing Club with Paul Trotman. And then Gunning Motorsports with, of course, Andrew Gunning. who's had a fantastic contribution to the league recently, which allowed multiple tiers to get commentary. And then we have here for the gasoline with Luke Richings, Turn 1 Sim Racing with Desert Townsend, and IGTD with Daniel Kazakevich. And then in the podium position starting is SGR Racing with Jabino, and Disruption Racing with Copsy, and Redline Racing Team, which we'll see again in just a moment with Harvey. Now, starting last in the GT2s, the straight line monsters, is a Geriatric GT with Jack Prentice.
30 seconds.
Then we have Brockovich Racing Team with Jay Brocken. Nicky Wheats sits Smet's Drinking Team in P9. RW Racing, headed by Serpentine in P8. Jordan Marshall, P7 with Champagne Endurance Team. And MT Motorsport with Sari.
10 seconds.
And Redline Rookies, Piccanello in P5. Redline Rookies again with Silvestri in P4. And then RW Racing with Heyman's the podium position in P3. And then Golden Oldies with Sharp in P2. And just before we count in, Morgan Grace leads us from the front. And we are about to go. Well, I don't think we're getting a formation lap. Excuse me for not necessarily reading the notes on that one. Still a little bit rusty at this. Been a little while, but we're about to kick this off.
Green light.
Go. That's 3 hours of Hungary off and away. Redline Racing's got a good start, but look at that on the outside. I believe that's Wouter Heymans. Oh, that's Sharp. Can Sharp go all the way around the outside? But we've got collisions in the back. Sharp turns in, but there's cars in the way though. It looks like Morgan Grace has got away clear. We've got multiple Audis. That's Wouter Heymans on the inside. We're going to go 3 wide going into turn 2. Oh, but that's Morgan Grace going a little bit wide. He's on the marbles. 3 wide on the inside. But Wouter Heymans all there on the inside. Can he skip through? He's going to go side by side with Morgan Grace. Round turn 3. Finally off track on the marbles again. But will there be a shot into turn 4? But no, now they all sort of settle up. And we've got cars going off at turn 4. But I believe they've rejoined just safely enough. And then we go back to the front. Mr. Owen Harris setting himself up for this one. But it looks like the gap is already starting to emerge between the GT4s. But then with the GT2s, it looks like we have disruption there. We are going to settle in just a moment. But the GT2s with with the Alpines starting to mix in amongst the GT2s ahead, with a bit of strife that is occurring. They're not quite got away yet, but the front pack of the GT2s has stretched away. But I can see there that Silvestri has dropped back, but he's going to have to try and start climbing back through the GT4s, which should be fairly easy picking for him. He doesn't look too damaged, but off he goes. I can see Luke Richings here challenging for the lead of the GT4 class. But he's not let this one get away from him. But with this slipstream train right now, not too many moves are going to get going. But I can see on the background there, that's Trotman diving to the inside of Winton of Team PCR. But then the GT4 so that then cuts across. Will that compromise Trotman then sends him all the way out to the curb. That's great racing, but they're still side by side. He's going to get the tyre line here, but then the faster line will go to Winton, who's then going to inherit the inside line. And that is P6 gone to Winton over Trotman. But then he's going to have to fight back because that is hit around that side of Trotman. So Trotman losing a place when he originally tried to gain one. And the battle for the overall lead in the GT2s has not settled down yet. The mighty Maserati, which is dominating the field, has not managed to shake off the Audi just yet. I'll look a little bit further behind them. The Mercedes, which will be very good over the curb, always is, no matter which formula it's in, is going to have to see off the very fast sprinting Audi. And I see that in the background. Tisari Trying to get on the inside of Prentice, and they touch. Prentice does fantastically well. Sorry, that was Prentice touching. Sorry, does a fantastic job of holding it together. And Silvestri is coming back through. So people starting to settle down to the patterns now, but here comes Weeks. I promise you it was a rocket ship in a straight line. He's going to go for the wide line. Marshall and his ever favoured Mercedes. Oh, as he stops dead on the apex of turn 1 and he gets a rear end shunt. Probably not a brake check, but I highly doubt he should, or penalise him. Penalise Weeks for knocking him in the rear there. That seemed a very heavy bit of braking into turn 1. Prentice after that little bit of contact with Sari before has dropped back a little bit, maybe just for the tight winding sections. And Hibbs, who was all over Trotman before, is really left him behind now. But no, here comes Prentice back at Sari. Porsche doesn't look too comfortable in that section. You can see the weight shifting all over the place on the Porsche. Something that I really struggled with. I tried to change to it, couldn't do it. Didn't like how much it flopped around. But here comes Prentice. That car looks so much more planted. They both go wide onto the curb. Prentice showing his intentions early. Ducks down to the inside, but can he get the braking done? The Porsche is very good on the brakes, but also great on traction. Prentice goes off track, and then dips straight back through. With another Audi going off in the background. That's of Brocken. Then Prentice forcing wide and into the pit lane. Then has to come back. Strongly suspect that the Maserati is going to be faster in a straight line, but off corners like this, the slow corners, Porsche is going to be strong, but it's the back end of the straight that Sari is going to have to look after himself here. Because look, he's already had to go defensive. Prentice is coming for him, ducks to the inside, they cross over on the track. But the Porsche, with enough of a launch out there, managed to maintain the gap down the pit straight. Ricky Weeks still clinging on to the back of Marshall, but I think Marshall's feeling quite comfortable with the compliance of that Mercedes currently. Let's go find a battle in the GT4 class. See the Aston Martin just behind of Harvey. Having a look at Trotman. Oh, but then there's Hibbs on Winton. Winton, look, he just went a little bit deep out of turn 1. Compromised him a little bit. Hibbs dives to the inside, but that corner just keeps turning and turning and turning until you run out of all speed and grip, and then the car is taking the wide line, often wins out trumps there. But I was right in thinking there's a 3-car battle going up ahead of us, and that's Gedman, Townsend and Richings. A haggle of admins. All ducking and diving. Must admit, I do like a Ginetta. Whenever I jump into the GT4s, I do love sitting in that car. It's a beauty, one of the most balanced machines you can find on this game. However, it does lack top line speed in comparison to its GT4 compatriots. But Gedman's looking good. And just like Chris Gedman, you're going to have to fight this one all evening long, because he is soloing this one. He will still be forced into the mandatory stints that's timed at 50 minutes, but he'll only be swapping out for himself. But with this 3-car battle, Gibino, who's no slouch, come back into the fray here. He looked like he'd originally dropped off. Don't believe he was ever behind Winton to lose out. Well, but Gedman maybe trying to get a bit of clean air there. You just see how he's lacking down the straight there. That Alpine does look like it's leading with top line speed. Oh, Mr. Harris, there's quite a few solos. I'll make sure I get through them once this is settled in, but we've still got plenty of battles to cover. But this is a great fight. Adam Sharp chasing down Wouter Heymans. This is one that's usually taking place on Taco Tuesday in the Pro Tier, but they're going at it in GT2s. And Sharp, ever the wise old head on him, elects not to go into that corner, but then he does get bogged down behind the Audi of Wouter Heymans coming out of turn 12. But I must say, in sector 1, you've got to back the Audi. It's faster in a straight line, and it's got some mighty brakes on it. However, it's the twisty sections where the Audi likes to snap and try and throttle you off the track. But look at that extra little bit of a gap that Heymans is able to take going into the first turn. And then Adam Sharp goes ever so slightly wide. We'll go back to this battle being headed by Sari. He's got the number 54 next to him, but he's got number 0 against his name. Oh, but look at this behind. Piccianolo? I'm sorry if I butcher that for you, my friend. I'll mute myself in a minute and try and practice one with a bit whilst I'm not so tongue-tied. Prentice has been going at this a while. He will not appreciate the extra pressure coming from the Maserati behind him. He knows how strong this machinery is, and he'll fear what it can do in the hands of a very, very motivated, I'm going to assume, Italian in the Red Line Rookies. Oh, and then Prentice looks like it's almost a corner cut there. We'll have to wait quite a while for this to see if that plays out. But then he takes the speed from that potential corner cut and then fires himself into lead of this pack. And then Piccianolo going to try around the outside of Sari as well. But Sari looks like he has seen that one off. But Prentice might just take a little track limit and a bit of distance down the road if it means that he gets to run away with this. I'll tell you what, the Porsche, considering its usual straight line prowess, is not getting out of turn 12 particularly well. I think maybe it's the fact it's having to stop quite dead on it in its tracks. Oh, look at that. Goes quite deep into the final turn. And he's got quite a run out here, but then he's out on the marbles, and I think that's going to give an opportunity. Oh, I'm all over the place. The Piccanelli. Piccanello. We're going to refer to him as by his team members, Red Line Rookies. I do apologise. But forward of that, Nicky Wheats on Martial. Right on his bumper, has not let him go. Martial, though, driving like he's not got a threat on his bumper at all. He's just taking his lines, and he's trusting that the speed of the Mercedes is going to see him good. And then forward of that, Adam Sharp. I said these battles look like they're going to be ongoing. Potentially what we're going to see is different manufacturers' cars stuck behind those that are their arch nemesis. The Matic, very well poised car, but the straight line speed of the Audi, potentially in these straight sections, will just let him off. Now that's going to come down to how many mistakes can Heymans keep out of his driving. Because there you saw Sharp, definitely more confident through the corner. I think I had to lift off a little bit and got a bit of lift off oversteer there. And it looks like Silvestri has joined up the back of the GT2s finally after dropping down quite significantly. Didn't take him too long to cook the GT2s, but it was going to take him a little bit longer to catch up to the pack. Went through the GT4s and took a while to catch up to the pack of GT2s. But here he is with Brocken ahead of him of Brokovic Racing Team. We're just going to see how he sets this up. Doesn't look like he gets bogged down at all behind the Audi, but he has definitely carried a lot of speed. There's definitely an opportunity on here. The draft is significant. He's going to dive early to the inside, give himself a nice clear line to break for turn 1. Straight lines it, doesn't turn into corner 2, but he has gone quite deep, and it looks like Brocken isn't going to be rolled over just that easily. The corner always looks like it's a lot more open than it is, but I promise you, it's an apex and a half. The Sharp's still on the back of this. Let's give the GT4s some love. Let's go back to Gedman. This pack that we were covering before has broken up ever so slightly, because it looks like Townsend has managed to escape in his Alpine, but that has left Richings fending for himself, and Gedman, I think, when all said and done, is going to make light work of this. Got a much better exit, but can he make the brakes? You bet your bottom dollar he can. Oh, but then he's got a bit of a snap of oversteer coming off the curb. Gedman will still have a nice inside line if he can make the stick and plant it to the apex. And that is great braking performance from Gedman there, and he's going to secure that one from this point forward. Now Winton has got quite the things developing in front of him here. Got a very damaged Aston Martin sulking around in front of him. He's got Hibbs right on his tail. And the Chevrolet of Gunning, I believe that was, very deep and wide off turn 4, and he's getting attacked. But that's Kasakevich, because Trotman has already got past. But no, Winton is going to get this position, he's going to lose that position to Hibbs as he's gone too deep around the S's of turn 8. And Hibbs, now having lost that position, is dropping back. And looks like Silvestri has got past Brocken after all. Can keep up with that. So yeah, just asked. So yesterday I went through the drivers, asked them a few different questions. You see what their aspirations were. Even I will slowly go through them as the stream progresses. I've got a quote here from Ashley Gunning, says he's been pretty clear. Is a podium minimum. P2 is the realistic target, and he wants to latch on to the red line early. So Ashley Gunning is down in. So he's not doing so great. He must have got caught up in stuff early on. He's right there with the pack, but he's not quite doing what he needs to achieve the goal that he originally set out for himself. He is currently sitting second to last, and with a bit of a rate bounce like that, he's not going to have much more progress either. And from one of the admins, Chris Gedman. Let's go find him, check in with him. So he's currently in a battle with Dazza Townsend. So he originally said, more in survival mode. Bring it home from the back, which around Hungary might not be the bad mindset at all. I mean, he's got a long time to do it, and if he started from the back, he's done mighty well. He's already in the podium positions. And with Dazza Townsend just not too far up the road, which is his main competition, he's going to close that down in short order, I think, even though Townsend is putting in a mighty effort. Nicky Wheats, who's in currently a race of his own in P5, he had an issue coming in, saying he's had to amend something in his actual wheel setup, or his game setup. His throttle was only reaching 93%, so a new and improved Nicky Wheats here, with all throttle available to him. So with some inconsistent pace, he might just progress through here, but currently he's in a nice little spot, lots of clean air. Let's see what he can do with it. But let's get back to the battles. So we've got Hibbs on Harvey now, who looks a little bit worse for wear in that Aston Martin. You do wonder exactly how much damage he is carrying. but he's managing it well. Like you said, he actually looks a little bit more, he's trying to get a little bit more conservative than Hibbs at the moment. Hibbs really looks like he's attacking everything. And just behind here, oh, a little bit of touch with the leader there. That was Morgan Grace going through in the Maserati. A little bit of a touch, maybe wasn't expecting him to overtake there. But if we go back, that's Gunning trying to move on. And then the Porsche goes through. Oh, we have a big collision. That's moved Gunning almost into the wall. Who was that Porsche? That's Kasakevich. Just messed up his braking, tried to avoid, took the wrong side of the line and crashed into two cars. I suspect this might be an early bath for him. Are we going to see him go into the pits? Yes, we are. That's the first pit of the night for IGTD Racing. Sharp still scrapping over second with the Wouter Heymans. Wouter Heymans just using that the Audi to all of its strengths. It's great to see. But Marshall, who's originally a little bit behind Jack Prentice, has dropped Redline Rookies and is after Prentice. He gets a little bit of a rear snap there coming around turn 1, but this race is far from over. It's a long way to go. Yeah, we're going to stay with this one for the time being. Yeah, I don't believe I got a note from Martial, but really, really fast driver, very, very aggressive normally. But so is Jack Prentice when he wants to be. Doesn't take fools lightly, and he will capitalise on every single little mistake you might make. But through goes Sharp on some of the back markers from the GT4 class, as he now finds himself behind Harvey in the dinted Aston Martin. Harvey likes to stay offline rather than online, and then decides to use the slipstream of Sharp to come out of there. So this is a phase that we didn't think we'd be seeing so early, 20 minutes in. And we've got battle going on ahead, and that is Jabino. I think he tried to make a move. So who was ahead of him? Richings ahead of him. Nothing doing there, and it looks like Jabino's had to drop back a little bit, if nothing but to let the leading car of Sharp, well, P3 position of Sharp, go through. So with only 23 minutes gone, I highly suspect we're going to see a lot more of the complements of the lapping traffic play as a factor in this race. I don't believe drivers are going to take too many early dives in the pits to avoid lapping traffic, as it is just going to happen. So you're better off learning to live with it. So what about Redline Rookies here? He's going to try and on the outside of Marshall. Oh, Marshall, of course, both of them cut the turn. I think maybe in defence. Both in attack and defence, a little bit naughty. But two wrongs don't make a right. Let's try and clean it up, guys. Oh, and that's Sharp. What's happened to Sharp? Potentially in with the lapping traffic, has been spun round. So we wait to see how this plays out. Where does he rejoin? He's rejoined with Hibbs. He's obviously a lap down. He's not truly behind him overall. But why does Hibbs look like he's fighting this? Oh, no. I mean, they are allowed to fight, but technically he's under blue flags. He should just move. But with a superior showline speed now, there will really be no fighting this. Sharp still maintaining P3, but where is Serpentine? Serpentine is just there. Was previously quite a commanding gap. And then with all that kerfuffle, we almost had Nicky Weeks diving on the inside of Serpentine. Do you know what, he might still, he looks to the outside. Yeah, fantastic battle going on here. Lapping traffic will play a factor. We see into turn 4, it's a very short run. It looks like Serpentine is going to attempt it around the outside. I think he makes it though, he does. But so does Nicky Weeks. Oh no, he doesn't. We've still got the car of Hibbs in the way. Should be out of the way before the chicane. Make wise choices. But then as Serpentine gets past Harvey, Weeks has still got him to clear. So Weeks has found himself one down on clearing the traffic. I'd say these fast corners are not where I'd like to be overtaken or do overtaking, but needs must in these scenarios. Now, this is quite crucial for Weeks. If he wants to be anywhere near Serpentine on the straight, he probably wanted to get Gabino into that turn. Gabino gets out of the way nicely, but then takes the wide line, maybe gets on the line that Weeks might have wanted, but crucially, he does let Weeks go after Serpentine once again. We've got red line rookies on Marshall. There's so many great little fights going on, especially in the GT2 class. And that is a great launch of Marshall. Marshall knows it. He's gone defensive to the middle of the track. You don't want to get too tight because there is too much turning to do when you get to the end. Marshall definitely stays on the inside. Quite smart move. Use the back marker as a block to stop Weeks from going for it. But for that, you've got to spot your brake. It doesn't look like he's done so. And it looks like Picconello is going to get that move done, but he doesn't. Again, Marshall using the back marker to his advantage. And Hibbs finally taking himself out of the equation for this battle. But we want to revisit the GT4s. And Gedman comfortably in P3 at the moment. Now, just to clarify, for someone like Gedman, he has got to do a mandatory, essentially 3-stop race, but he only has to do a mandatory stop with fuel and tyres once. Actually, it's only a mandatory tyre change. Obviously, it kind of becomes mandatory to do a fuel stop because of the length of the race, but you're not mandated to refuel at any one stop. You can basically play it by ear. So Gedman now getting caught up with a few of the GT2 class. Now that's Townsend ahead, and he's going to have the GT2s all over him as he comes out of here. Now what does he do? Just stay on the line for his own benefit and hope that the GT2 cars just let themselves through, and they do. Then crucially for Gedman, he's been lapped as well. So at the moment, looking like the GT4 class, very spread. Got Harvey and Gabino. I tell you, Harvey's doing such a great job carrying. If this is any sort of significant damage, he's doing very, very well to hold it in any sort of position. He had Hibbs behind him for quite a while, but not let him get too close. But Copsey at the moment, an absolute dreamland. He's got nobody near him. All he's got to do is make sure that he's safe enough with the blue flags that he gets given. Absolutely checked out for the time being. And to be honest, same with Morgan Grace. He's got nobody near him, not blue flags, not his own competition. He is driving off into the sunset on this one. Nicky Weeks still sitting in a boat of frustration behind Jack Prentice. This one, I think, is going to go on and on and on and on and on. It's only a short track. The opportunities to pass will continue coming up. But it's whether or not for every lap that he tries to attack and fails, Prentice is learning a new trick. He's learning what Weiss's habits are, what he wants to go for, what he doesn't want to go for, and obviously what Weiss will do when Prentice does the things he wants to do and doesn't want to do. Like that, quite a wide line into the final turn. Weiss was not there though to capitalise. Or was he? Was it actually compromised after all? Ricky Weeks goes all the way to the outside. Can Prentice get it stopped? Yes, he can. But will there be a cutback from Weeks here? Yeah, bumper to bumper. Almost with the line of travel. Almost bumped Prentice into the grass. But Prentice goes wide. There's a wide line around the hairpin of turn 2. And keeps it together. A wide line is often a fast line. You may cover longer distances, but if you're travelling fast, it really does not make any difference. Now these are just coming up to the battle with, I'll work out, that's one of the Alpines. Or that one. Or that one. My apologies, it was a Porsche. That's Copsey. Like we said, Copsey does not need to make too much inroads here. He doesn't need to hold anybody up. He can just continue on his merry little way. But look at this. This is a 3-car battle that's just crept up on us. Harvey putting in great work with a damaged car. He's caught up to the back of Gabino just in time for him to be helping himself defend from Hibbs. Another team that is soloing it this evening is SGR Racing with Gabino doing the full stint. But here goes Harvey going into the pit. Harvey, a red line team, going in for his first stop. About 20 minutes earlier than originally prescribed. So that's quite an interesting feat, how he's going to manage this for the rest of the race. This will probably have to instigate an extra stop. But if it means fixing that damage, it might just give him the extra pace that he needs. Rest assured, I am tracking where I can the pit stops that have taken place. Obviously, you can track the pit stops, the full pit stops that have taken place on the tracker on screen. That number 1 next to their name shows how many mandatory pit stops they have left to do. And so far, nobody has served a full mandatory pit stop, so nobody has taken their mandatory tyres yet. And you know what? It would be silly if they did, because those tyres would have to go another 2.5 hours. The most I've ever stretched a set of tyres, I think, was maybe an hour and a half. And believe me, they were not a pretty sight afterwards. Now, Copsey is going to get caught up in this now. He's had to go wider than he wanted. The red line rookies will eventually get round the outside, but then the Porsche just behind Sari drives his way through. Copsey has to manage this well because he does not want any smoke from this. And Silvestri, having dropped Brocken, is back into the fight. He is slowly moving through. Oh, as the Porsche, they're almost sending it into the back of Piccinello. Silvestri taking very aggressive lines, just trying to shape something up, maybe try and get a good launch somewhere and catch MT Motorsports, sorry, by surprise. Like I said, Marshall, look, I'm pretty sure he doesn't know any of the cars are on the track, because he's driving like nobody's attacking him. Oh, no, there we go, there's finally a defensive shape. It ducks to the inside going into the chicane at turn 6 and 7. Now Marshall, as confident as he's being, is backing this pack up a little bit. I think a lot of inside curve there is Marshall. But Piccianello, this is about as confident as I've seen him. Zigzagging behind him. Was he trying to stave it on the brakes? Oh my goodness, squirming under braking. Where's that put Marshall off? He tries to duck to the inside and tries to duck to the inside again. Tries to go round turn 13. And who was that off? That was Silvestri going wide at the final, the penultimate turn. But now, oh my God, sorry, down the inside, just when Piccianello is trying to set up a move on Marshall. Sorry, has found himself to the inside, but it looks like the power-strong Maserati is going to get away on the straight. So a momentary opportunity there for Sari, but nothing doing. Oh, and that's Nicky Weeks. For a moment, side by side. Oh no, he's ahead. He's got ahead of Prentice. So we didn't quite see the build up to that one, but we did see his conclusion. That is Nicky Wheat overtaking Prentice. So the Golden Oldies is geriatric GT. I'm gonna say the brain's thinking two alike. Geriatric GT is team tonight of Jack Prentice and Ian Simcox. So the first one we've covered this evening, that is not going all the way by themselves. We'll wait to see how much of an advantage that does give. To have a few fresh eyes and maybe a slightly lower heart rate to go racing with. But look at this Hibbs on Gerbino. Now that we've seen Harvey pit out of this one. As I can see Clayton on Redline Racing Team. So they've done their full pit. So we'll mark that off. So yeah. So they did elect to pick, well, I'm assuming that's to fix some aero damage, but he's still pretty beaten up cosmetically. No bodywork panels replaced. And he's coming up on the back. He's actually trying to unlap himself from Copsey here. But Piccianello trying absolutely everything. This group is getting just a little bit stretched. But what about this battle with Hibbs and Gerbino? Oh, look at this. Just as we turned on it, looks like Gerbino has gone a bit too deep on the first turn. But I think the McLaren is going to have the straight line speed and the inside line for turn 2. Just send him slightly wide. Very good defensive shape there from Gerbino. There's years of experience coming to the fray for Gerbino there, knowing what he can and can't do underneath the umbrella of the rules. Now, in about 12 minutes, we are expected to get a flurry of pit stops as the drivers come in for and try and beat the stint timer and come in. Even if it means just sitting in there, maybe with a top up of fuel, or simply just to serve a mandatory sort of pretend driver change, if you will. And the Hibbs backs off for the moment. So we really are starting to get quite spread out now. Obviously, we're going to do our best to keep you engaged with the larger picture of this evening's race. So we do have Redline rookies and the two Redline rookies into the pits from the GT2s. That's the SWR team. And I fully expect they will not come out. So I think they are just going to come out. Oh, but look at this. This is Hibbs diving again. Now, will the same thing play out again? Will Gibino have the speed to take somewhere? But this time, Hibbs has the line. He is ahead. And Gibino is going to have to try something very special to get ahead here. But no, the very good handling Ginetta dances around turn 2's hairpin and comes out ahead. Gibino is going to have to do that work all over again to get that position back if he wants the P8 position on the road. Oh, Gibino ragging it out there over turn 4 to try and keep this alive. So Pignolo and Silvestri completing their mandatory stops, taking tyres. Now Gedman still eking that gap closed. Mia Motorsport against Turn 1 Sim Racing, who is comprised of Desert Townsend, who you can see on screen, and will be taken over at a certain point by Mr. Gordon Brown. So very much in the admin gaggle. Trying to work out where Copsey is actually. So yeah, he's about a few corners ahead is Copsey. And he's currently, unless he has a massive off or an incident with blue flag, cars he's blue flag to, every reasonable assumption he's going to bring this home. But it's an awfully long race. So 9 minutes until the stint timer kicks in. Bino still having dropped off the back of that. As we've got support for the Mr. G Brown in the chat, Mr. Owen Harris. Big up G Brown. We love and appreciate you, buddy, for all the hard work that you do behind the scenes. So far, a well-run, very clean event. Obviously, the cleanliness of it is very much out of his control once the drivers hit the track. But no doubt he'll catch them in the stewarding room after this. We do still hope drivers will run stuff through the steward's room should they get caught up in anything they don't want. If it's nothing other than for a second opinion on what is right and wrong as per the FRL rules. And that's one of the great things about large sim racing is that all of our leagues and servers are managed and optimized with a full stewarding team that can review incidents and make sure and sort of help all the racing be clean. Simple as that. As you know, just happily letting through the 590 car. Messiness. You can't crash into anybody in WRC, Owen. But yeah, Gedman's very close. I mean, he's getting good exits, but unless there's a huge dive coming here into this turn, I don't think he's going to make a move. But at least now, he's definitely in the window where Townsend... I mean, we'd have to feel not any pressure in this scenario. But look at this. Gedman trying to go around the outside. Oh, they touch. Townsend had the corner, so had every right to swing outwards. Gedman did not have his car fully alongside on the outside or even ahead, which is actually the requirement to be allowed any additional racing room. I think Townsend was well within his rights there to run him out wide. However, I will steer away from stewarding during the event. Great use of the elbows. Sharpen them down the mill. But this is the main battle going on in the GT2s right now. Surrey against Marshall, the MT Motorsport driver, is. Let me find it. He is tonight going to be changing over at some point with Mike van der Vrecken. I believe I said that right. So he's not shouldering this burden alone, unlike Marshall. Marshall doing an almighty job in the Mercedes, taking this for the full 3 hours. But sometimes, I grew up playing tennis, individual sport. Sometimes, whether you think somebody might be good enough to take it, to wear your shoes, you always feel that the safest hands are your own. So I can empathise with his choice to go at this alone. As we see Turn 1 Sim Racing, car 134 going into the pits. So they have beaten the stint timer. Now we are 5 minutes out from that. The question is, are we going to get a flurry or are we going to get a stagger going into that? And we've got another one, Serpentine of RW Racing into the pits. So drivers not wanting to risk potentially timing out if they do an extra lap. As of yet, I'm not quite sure what the penalty is if you forget to come in before that sprint timer. So just looking like he's dropping back from Marshall here. And Turn 1 also doing their full pit stop. So Red Lion has as well, as has RCR. This is RW Racing. Lovely stuff. So, drivers starting to filter out now. Serpentine has come out amongst the GT4s and seemingly in a so yeah, quite far. I think that's maybe not updated correctly there. I highly doubt he's 81 seconds ahead of Bogetto. Oh, that's it. Oh no! The Serpentine, we've caught it live. Serpentine has run into who was that? Oh, Serpentine running into, I think it was the 97 car, or the 589 car of a Clayton, I think that was. He doesn't seem too damaged, but that's going to affect his time massively. The Red Line rookies are not actually that far away. And we've got Smet's Drinking Team and Golden Oldies coming in now. Yeah, as we're starting to see an absolute rush in now. Originally I was trying to hold on to a bit of a track here, but I think that's starting to get a little bit shot. Trying to mark out who's pitted and when. So anybody that hasn't come in yet will need to do very, very shortly. So that's Wouter Heymans of RW Racing coming in. I suspect anybody still out there will be coming in as well. So our race leader currently, Morgan Grace, currently having to dice through a pack of GT4s. And that is Copsey that he just had to overtake. So leader, lapping leader. Geriatric in. Champagne in. MT Motorsport in. Easy Bandits in. So everybody diving at the last breath to come in here. The Morgan Grace, we can only assume he is coming in now from the lead. He cannot go on any longer. And in he comes. Stopping nice before the line. Make sure we're not getting any speeding in the pit lane penalties. They are brutal, they are harsh, and they will come and get you. And that's Copsey coming in from the lead of the GT4 class. So let's bring you some on-track action. So now we've got a vast amount of drivers coming now. But I'm assuming this will be Sharp and Prentice coming in now. Oh. Oh, so Geriatric has already pitted. That's why they get to pass the pit lane entry. As has Golden Oldies. Morgan Grace already at the first turn, and he has maintained a fairly comfortable lead. Even after completing his actual pit stop, which would have cost him a little bit more time. So here we are, Gedman on Hibbs, who now has the Alpine of Brown ahead of them. So Brown taking to the Alpine, continuing in P3. But the battle for that third position is red hot. So far, all drivers successfully obeying the stint timer, with a few driver changes in the mix. Most prominent being for the third place of the GT4 class. This is Gordon Brown. He's got quite a way to Serafino Gabino, but knowing he's already got his full stop out of the way, this does put him in a challenging position for Gabino, who is quite a way ahead actually. But like I said, that might be down to pit strategy. This may come back to bite him. So Hibbs at the moment in a bit of an admin sandwich. Hibbs for the Greasy Bandits racing team is going to want to slip through Gordon Brown here and then slide away. But there's a very, very small chance the admins are talking to each other. Now, will there be some coordination going on here? Well, here we go, there's an Audi coming up to the head here, so a little bit of disruption for Hibbs here, and Brown. Brown probably going to be the most distracted by this, unless the Audi can stay long enough clear and he can extend his braking zone. He can. Currently all the fights are in the GT4 class. Oh no, tell a lie. Jack Prentice, after stops, has caught back up to the RW Racing team, fighting for the podium. But they do just have the small matter of Serafino Gabino to clear through the middle section. And Serafino Gabino not really doing too much to get out of the way. Now what will Prentice do? Brave on the brakes into there. Knowing for a lot of faith in Gabino not just flying through behind him there. Prentice would have had to use some brakes to get the car slowed down enough to take that bend. But crucially, it's only cost him maybe about 2/10 trying to get past him there, because both of them were definitely hampered by Serafino Gabino as they entered that section. But I think it's going to be a few laps before Prentice re-engages with this one. Hibbs sensibly in there, another car through. That is Serpentine, who I think will take a bit more caution now. He's actually got caught up in lapping traffic a little bit earlier on. Brown sticking to his line, as they have been instructed to do in the race briefing. It is the onus on the faster GT2s to use their speed and their grip, their mechanical advantage, to do the overtaking offline. They are all technically racing, but when there's such a speed difference, it's not really a contest, as you just saw. So already now we do have Winton being lapped by the leader there of Copsey. But it's a long race, obviously you can still get something out of this. We have Brockvis race team back in the pits. But being 12 laps down, I think they're very much competing for the participation trophy at this point. So guys, I've done a lot of talking to myself this evening. If you are sat here watching along, do let me know what you're finding entertaining, which battles are really whetting your appetite, and yeah, get engaged. That's what FRL's here for, whether it be racing, whether it be through commentary, whether it be just through having good chat and banter in the Discord. We are here for it all. The car notice that Prentice has dropped back off the back of Haymans now. that small excursion with Gabino has maybe just disincentivized Prentice a little bit, and he's now fallen off the back of to Haymans. We will see if fresher tyres later on in the race will bring that battle back together. Now Marshall, who we mentioned before, was very much in a position that he was just holding back those behind him. But he's clear now. He's got nobody really to bother him. So long ago, I almost can't remember who he was fighting, but he was doing a mighty good job of when he was. I think actually it might have been Prentice, but I think Prentice has jumped forward a little bit, but without taking tyres in the early stint. But we can see his pace disadvantage after we've seen him so significantly drop off the back of Wouter Haymans. Again, with the gaps closing down for those that didn't take tyres last time round. See Adam Sharp, who's currently overtaking Copsey, now down to 5 seconds, but then falling back ever so slightly due to lack of tyre performance, because they are now an hour in, and stuff like that is going to come into play. So it's Gabino now, just minding their business, finding a better spots to lead us through this time. It's the Audi, I believe, of Serfontaine. No, not Serfontaine. Smets. There's a very darkish liveries this evening. But I tell you what, Hibbs, who's had to sit with cars around him, probably more than anybody else has this race, doing a great job holding on to Brown. Most cars at this moment in time probably wanting a bit of clean airs and just sell into the race and pump in laps. But Hibbs has stayed very committed to keeping Brown honest here. Now Brown is an experienced driver, he won't mind that too much. Even confident enough to swing it out wide and take the faster line around turn 2. It did originally seem faster. Oh, as you see Marshall overtake around the outside of turn 4 with a reasonable amount of margin still to play with. And then through he goes on Brown. Will that hamper Brown into the chicane? It does ever so slightly. But most confident racing drivers will tell you it's not how you enter the corner, it's how you exit it. Obviously your entry can have a great deal of impact on how you exit it, but if you settle the car down, put your power down in the right way, you can get out of it. And look at that, Brown has put an extra car length back in that gap. As we slowly see, once again, the gap, Adam Sharp extending to another second, 6 seconds behind now. Isn't this an interesting fight? MT Motorsports, Van der Vrecken, who's now fresh in the seat, has got Evangelisti stuck behind the back marker for the moment, but he will get going in short order. And that is Gedman, who won't want any part of this. Just pass me quickly, please. I tell you what, Van der Vrecken very much driving like a guy who's fresh to the fight. As we watch Gedman get all loosey-goosey in the background there out of turn 1. Maybe just trying to stop in time for these. I tell you what though, we were originally coming down on Prentice a little bit for losing that time to Wouter Haymans, but I tell you what, it has stabilised now. Just over 3.5 seconds. Prentice has stabilised that gap, so maybe the tyres are just starting to come back to him. to the bit. Oh, the fuel's just coming off. Bear with me, guys, while I refresh myself on the regular. Not just needing water, but a bit of energy as well. Got the monster in tow just to help me stay awake after getting up when the clock's going back to watch the Japanese Grand Prix this morning. I hope those of you who enjoy all forms of motorsport did watch the F1 and enjoyed it. I know I did. Not so much. I'm going to pay for this one in the morning when I go to work. But that's part of being a motorsport fan. Motorsport is a worldwide sport, and we watch it when we can, whenever we can. And I hope to engage in a narrative with you all when the 24 Hours of Le Mans come round. What an amazing spectacle that is. But not that we don't have spectacles here online that you can watch in your pocket or on your phone. Oh, this is quite a dive coming from the 767 car. Evangelisti diving through there. So this ongoing. So far so good with the lapping traffic. It was originally considered quite a heavy factor in this race that we would be seeing drivers have to be very patient behind the lapping traffic and overtaking the GT4's leisure, but that hasn't so much been the case. The only real factor that we've had was Serpentine, who got spun around 180 degrees and then rejoined without any damage. That's about as bad as it got, and for an hour in, I think we can take that as a success. But for the time being now, we do have a Porsche. This is Van der Vrecken, who's not had great joy overtaking these guys. We'll finally get one of them done at least now. Hibbs will not appreciate being slowed down to that degree on that corner. Did originally want to enjoy this drive myself with the Ginetta, but a certain man that's in the comments couldn't give me 100% certainty they could take part, and I'm not as hardcore as some of the guys here. I had no intention of doing this solo. So not sure if anybody in the chat has ever done a multi-hour event solo. It is not for the faint-hearted. So yeah, Hibbs now dropped back an extra second to Brown, fight for the last of the podium spots in the GT4 class. Looks like it could have down to the wire or potentially be switched over with strategy. Sharp just starting to lose out. Obviously we're expecting to be fast at the middle or the end of this race, which will hopefully see that battle reignite. But I think Wu-Tame's a bit further behind. And Jack Prentice, I think, will be quite happy just pumping in the laps here. It's probably what he wanted on this strategy, to get out from behind of Martial. I mean, I'm sure, Owen, you'd happily do 3 hours at Silverstone. I think you do a 24 hours if we bet you enough. So yeah, whilst we've got a fair amount of field spread, we're going to flip back to a battle with Hibbs, chasing down Gordon Brown. And catch you up once again on the antics that happens within the FRL server. So obviously FRL is sim racing at its very best. We hit all levels of motorsport. all levels of online motorsport, whether they be Assetto Corsa, Assetto Corsa Competizione, like you see here, formerly with Formula One, we are iRacing, WRC, maybe one day PMR, but whilst it's still having its teething issues, we'll get to that eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, FRL is just very simply your place to be for online sim racing. We've got a server of over 5,000 people engaged in so many different forms of motorsport. So much commentary to be viewed. So many of your races will get live streamed. You can catch up with some very popular drivers in the sim racing circuit, catch their individual driver streams as well as the overall streams. A very friendly community that will help you out whenever you need. And yeah, if you're not already liked and subscribed to this channel, make sure to hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss whenever we go live. Because God, you could have already been an hour deep into this. If you're just joining us now, that's what the notification bell's for. You should have been here. Wakey wakey. It's 8 PM on a Sunday evening here in the UK. Prime sim racing time. And you've been sleeping, have you? Because the clocks went back. Should have had that notification bell on. And you've caught up with all the action, all the madness that took part already. But if you're an avid subscriber and you do listen to that notification bell when it rings, you might be interested in also becoming a Patreon member. Patreon starts at just £3 a month, and it gives you access to your own Patreon servers, early access into events, your own Patreon Discord chat. You get to reserve your own driver numbers, early access, priority access, crucially, into events, and always guaranteed a seat in an FRL race if you are a Patreon member. Now, obviously, that is scalable. We do have high packages as well, which I'm sure if you message an admin, they will let you know. To drop a comment in the chat here, and I'm sure an admin will reach out to you, send you a Discord link, and then you can go from there in starting your journey with the FRL community. Now, this is just a one-off event. I hope you're enjoying it so far. We are still waiting for our second round of mandatory maximum stint lengths. So I imagine most drivers without any gripe will... Ooh. Did you see the position change there? No, I don't think I did. As I was saying, we are expecting these to do hit at least 2 more times due to the mandatory stint length max of 50 minutes. So there will still be some movers and shakers in this, so do not go anywhere. We are expecting that at around about 1 hour 20 left on the timer. But they may well come in earlier, because if they still have to do that once more, you probably don't want to do that with only 30 minutes left. You might want to stretch it out, get ahead of the pack, but if you want the best tyres for the best amount of time, you probably want to equalise that best possible, provided you've got the clean air to do so. Our other events, especially on ATC, if that's what you're interested in, that's why you're here this evening. We have Taco Tuesday, the 1 hour signature event for FRL. You'll catch me in the Pro-Am tier this season, running at the same time as in the second server, below the Pro and the Silver, which I was desperately wanting to get into this season, but FRL has stacked that grid. It's ultra competitive. There's barely a cigarette paper you can put between the grid now to keep them apart, so I got pushed back down into Pro-Am. Boo-hoo, cry me, but I'll come back stronger. So there's 2 tiers there. I'm sure everything from your alien drivers to your new just trying to pick up your sim racing, if you're on pad or wheel, everybody's welcome, provided you can keep it nice, clean and tidy. Then we have our late night Thursdays, starting a little bit later for those who are maybe on international clocks. I'd have to throw it over to one of the admins to explain that one. I'm not too engaged in that one. And then we have our Super Sprint Sunday series, where we are back-to-back races. I'm sure we're going to get a visit from Gordon Brown later on this evening to explain any changes that we've got to that format. As of last season, it was a single shot quali for all 3 tiers. You can go out whenever you want within 15 minutes and set a lap. Could only set one lap though, and then come in, and that is your starting position for the race. That sets the grid for both. So even if you've been in the first 20 minutes with no mandatory pit stop, you can come back and start again in the same position and then go again. Now that Split Sunday Series has toyed back and forth with the idea of a reverse grid. I think a few drivers, especially the faster ones amongst them, are aiming for that to come back again. I'm sure the admins have had plenty of petitions in their DMs for that to make a return. Maybe some of the slower drivers that are scared of starting from the front of a 40-car grid with some absolute aliens starting behind them, maybe not so welcome for it. But it's all good fun and it's all good learnings. Now, one battle that has crept up on us is Josh Clayton in Redline Racing Team has caught up with the We Are Here for the Gasoline. And it looks like this one is going to get done quite simply, because that Aston Martin looks a lot more fixed than it was last time round. Oh, but then he's got an awful snap under braking. Now, will he confidently carry this on? Now, should he give that one back? He did complete the move off the track. Will that one potentially go to the stewards afterwards? And that is where my opinions on the matter finish. So yeah, Copsey with an absolute enormous lead right now. But crucially, he and Jabino have not yet taken their mandatory tyre stop, so they will carry on. So yeah, we've just seen that move being made, so we do expect Clayton, who we know on most days is a pro driver, Richings often dabbling in silver, I believe. And if you're wondering, well, where do I start in FRO? If I want to join in, where do I start? FRO has a driver rating system, which they're very proud of. And it has done a very good job in recent years of making sure that driver entry points are as accurate as possible by taking a number of different factors into account, using your timing scores from your ACC stats page, as well as the laps you've completed and your scoring on SimGrid, etc., races completed and so on. All helps build up the score. I'm assuming there's a lot more factors in it than just that. I'm probably doing it a disservice, but so far so good. There's never been any aliens stuck in with the snails, so all's well that ends well, as it has done so far. Once again, the main battle that is roaring at the moment is this one with Hibbs and Brown, but Brown doing a fantastic job of managing this, not pushing too hard other than with track limits there. But if you know that you can get both tyres wide and over that orange sausage curb, it is quite easily rideable, or so I've been told. Never quite brave enough myself. Yeah, as we just catch Hibbs with Prentice behind. Does a good job letting him through. So this is the point in the race, but we're approaching the halfway point. We are going to experience just a little bit of a lull in action. So many of the drivers will have set up their race to conclude with them with the fastest car. They will have phases where they expect themselves to be fastest and to be on the attack, and phases as well where they're looking to just bring the car home. As it currently stands, we have a few people to making moves, like we saw with Clayton on Richings, and look, he's moved ahead. He's actually gapped him by 3.5 seconds, so this is clearly Clayton's fast phase. So usually when you're watching a battle going on, it's usually the attacking car that's throwing shapes at the defensive car. Whereas I must say, Gordon Brown is taking a lot of alternate and very creative lines with a lot of these turns, and I bet that is really messing with the head of the man from the Greasy Bandits racing team. So whilst we've got a little bit of time on our hands, I will go through some of the comments that we've had come in. So I'll read this one in full as we do have a bit of extra time. So we had Ashley Gunning, who's currently sat down in P18, 16 seconds off the back of Lou Richings in gasoline, here for the gasoline. And he's put in full, I think my biggest competitor is Pete Tromblers, who both got a 1 minute 53.937 in quali. I've never seen such a margin that close, he says. So obviously if you're not familiar with motorsport, too close it is. Even if you get equal time, you don't get to just share a line of the grid. It's whoever achieves the that time first gets that, as we are seeing the Champagne Endurance team come into it, and that where are you? And that is their second stop on the stint timer. I shall continue. It says, I'm racing GT4, so my biggest fear about the Hungarian is GT2 drivers don't need to explain that much. And I think he has been caught up in that, in all fairness. So going for a podium, hopefully I can attach a rope to Redline Racing off the start, and then I'll come a solid second. I mean, Redline Racing is definitely... I mean, he's not too far off, but they're definitely not being dragged to a podium as of yet. It says, I like to with everyone in the race. Maybe that's cringe, but I hate it when people try and ruin races for others in the hopes to help their own team. Nothing against it in the rules, so it's fair game. I came third in Bathurst during the start of the year, and I want that number one, but I'll have to see what happens. And he's asked me specifically, please ask here for the gasoline, Luke Richings to share the gasoline, as I'm from Australia and we literally have run out of fuel. And I'll probably be too busy to drop in the comments, but I'll see how much time I can get in the pit. So potentially, just potentially, we'll have an Ashley Gunning join us in the comms box at some point, maybe when he's done driving the car and handing over to his teammate. But yeah, for Australia at the moment, I've not followed that too much in the news, but supposedly they're having some fuel issues. Obviously there is, without getting too political in the stream, there are things going on in the world which is of note. Which is affecting fuel and all other things. But look at this, as we finish with that chat, Hibbs is about to give us something to commentate over in the race. He's super close behind Brown, and Brown two-wheeling it over the first part of the chicane. But will Hibbs's progress be halted when the Audi of, I believe, is that Serpentine? I think it is. No, it's not. That is Smets. As we've got Red Line rookies also in. That's the second stop on their stint timer. So Smets not getting through easily here. But he will do now. But it looks like Hibbs is very involved in his own race, but fair play to him. He does not have to move out of the way. It's probably not advisable that he blocks him, and he's under blue flags. I mean, how many times are we going to watch Mr. Gordon Brown pray that the GT2 cars just like fly ahead of him into braking zone so he can actually hit his brake marker and not have to back up and allow Hibbs to move on him. Yeah, Hibbs really getting aggressive now. But Brown has been specifically strong through this sector, taking this wide entry into the turn 5, which on the F1 game is advisable. That inside curb is a thing of fatal consequence. Well, we are going to continue to stick with this. And Marshall, not having lost too much, having gone through the pits. There's only one of 2 adopters with Champagne and rookies coming in. They have expectedly dropped to the back of the tier, but we will keep an eye on their timings to see, because we are approaching the latest stopping points for next another 15 minutes. But here we go, Hibbs well in the draft, and Brown goes defensive to the inside. But can he keep it clean? Can he get the car stopped? Or will Hibbs swerve around the outside? No, Brown gets it stopped beautifully. Ends up over the curb. Essentially a little bit of a cutback. Now Hibbs, I don't think he played that quite well enough. Brown had him well covered and had the ability to turn in. If you want to catch Brown napping, you're going to have to force him into something he really doesn't want to do. And for that, I think he was perfectly comfortable in defending with the line that he'd chosen. Oh, not round turn 4. He thought about it. Then we've got another battle brewing up ahead. But that's Hibbs gone wide. I think he tried for an inside line at turn 5 and went wide. So we're going to go forward to RW Racing on the Golden Oldies. We've been waiting for this battle for a while. But here it comes. Wouter Heymans on Adam Sharp. Adam Sharp probably low on fuel, low on tyre life, with an Audi. As we got Joelia Nemanu giving a shout out to the Golden Oldies. They wishes them the best of luck. But the Golden Oldies now, they're going to need the luck because they have to defend to the inside, going into turn 2. Will he swing out wide? He does. He does defend very well, does Mr. Sharp. But can he get the car turned on the cutback? Yes, he can. Covering all the middle of the track, but does he now carry the speed down through turn 4? Oh, unfortunate, Clayton. This is really sad to hear. Dan, thank you very much for the vote of confidence in the comments box, my friend. I'll see you out there on Sprint Sunday. But for the time being, I'm to actually find you. I've completely lost where Clayton is. Just as he compliments my my commentary, I go a little doolally. But we've got Wouter Heymans here, still going at it. But this is a much better exit. No traffic this time. He's got the run he wants. Sharp having to go defensive. The Golden Oldies. Can they rewrite the old playbook? Can you teach the dog new tricks? Seems that yes, you can. Ah, yes, I see you. Oh, but we're going to stick with the fight, though, because Golden Oldies are defending to the inside. Rita Heymans is going to have a line through here, but can he keep it on track? Can he keep it level? Yes, he can, but now they're side by side going for the fastest corner on the track. Who dares break the latest? Heymans did not want to give that up. He's going to be run over the curb and off. Now, with that camera angle, very difficult to say who really got their nose in first because they would have owned the corner. It is basically single file traffic through there at full speed. You need a lot of compliance from your competitor. Oh, it's car 54. That's Memty Motorsport with a stop go 30 seconds. They are going to drop back and some. Stop go 30 seconds when you're already trying to manage 3 essential pit stops. But I think this one's going to run and run and run. As we've got turn 1 and here for gasoline into the pits.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
So both of those, and that's it. And we've got Golden Oldies into the pits. Maybe they want out of that. Now, crucial, surely over the midpoint now, this is them taking tyres. If they truly want to continue fighting with Wouter Heymans, they're going to need the tyres to do so. And we have geriatric pitting as well. We're going to assume they're going to finally complete their full stop. There's Marshall. Oh my goodness. Going 3 wide into turn 5. Marshall's got Progetto for company, and they had to negotiate that with Gordon Brown stuck in the mix. Gordon Brown must have been thinking the entire time, at what point do I actively fully back out of this instead of just letting the faster guys run around me? As Van der Vrecken finally goes in to serve his stop-go penalty. And with SGR Racing also heading in. And Mia Motorsport. Maya, someone can spell that phonetically in the comments for me, it'd be much appreciated. And we've got SGR Mia and Gunning in as well. Gunning has finally cut their full stop. Oh, is that Porsche in the background? Yeah, that's Van der Vrecken. He had someone tailing him out, but I don't think that's a car he's competing with. I think that might be Gabino. We go Gordon Brown. And that is Gabino, the man who is trying to run the entire thing by himself. Gordon Brown will be a little bit fresher in the mind to stick this one out. There you have every single car has now completed their mandatory stop. So the halfway point in the race is what we expected. Everybody wants to stretch their tyre life equal across the stint. Nobody is risking overdoing their tyres in the middle to have any sort of faster tyres at the end. Everybody is going to have no better tyres at the midpoint than they will at the end of the race. Now this is the battle that's ongoing for P7. And we expect these guys to be pretty quick around about now. Borgetto especially, because I think he has just taken tyres. Redline Rook is taking tyres late. Whereas Marshall actually adopted onto the new tyres quite early. He still will have one more stint to drop in for, and maybe he takes extra tyres to stay competitive. But he's doing just fine for now. The grunt and the rideability of that Mercedes will help him maintain competitive against the very low riding Maserati. Yeah. I'd get a feeling I might need to actually have a go at this track in one of the cars I'm going to use for the season. Actually learn seeing how much these cars are riding the curbs. I want to see if I can match them for it, because there's all sorts of time over them if you're brave enough. Now that is a great run by Borgetto there. Marshall sees it early. He moves late. And that's going to see off that attack momentarily. The first time we've really seen Martial sweat. I think he recognised his poor exit and went defensive immediately off the corner. Can't imagine Borgetto was particularly happy to see the car jump ahead of him where he wanted to go, but provided he did it before Borgetto did. You can see Martial just gapping him on the straight. But it's going to get crucial into here because we do have one of the GT2 cars, GT4 cars, sorry, getting in the way here. Martial flashing away. I think he's going to get through there just fine. But yeah, both nice and cleanly through. Now, crucially, Copsey is running a long way here. You'd like to think on the next tour round he will come in, because he's really stretching this stint timer. I mean, he is a long way clear of his competition. He can afford. I mean, that's him lapping Hibbs. Which is now actually swapped for Goudet, so we missed that one. So having come into the pits, they've come out. And off they go. So Goudet here having to defend from Gibino and Gordon Brown. And the man who's only just been introduced into the fray is going to have to learn quick what he needs to do to keep these two very fast drivers behind. Gibino having a look. Will that leave him open to Brown coming up the rear? And Gibino found a bit of traction on the inside. Just going to fill up Goudet's mirrors. Looks from outside line, he's got to be careful. Brown saw that gap, thought about going for it. Gibino did snap it off in time, stopped Brown from going for it. But this McLaren's got so much more speed in the straight line, he's struggling to actually stop himself from overtaking Goudet in a dangerous place. Oh, as Brown gets a little bit snappy on the rear on entry. And then Giovinazzi getting a bit of a snap mid-corner. It's an enthralling battle. I'm just going to quickly flick forward to Borgetto. And we have the pit of Red Lion Racing up top. And in just before the stint timer catches them. So we're going to watch this attack, and then we might go forward to Colpitts and trying to chase down RW Racing with Wuta Heymans. But Taylor's oldest time, Borgetto just does not have the straight line speed to challenge Heymans without an early mistake in the straight. But look at this. Golden Old is back out and chasing down RW Racing. RW Racing, which is making sure I've got all my stats right. I've got my little stats cheat sheet here and getting conflicting information. Goodness knows why we trust ChatGPT with these things. Oh no! A Copsey with such an enormous lead, he's hit the pit wall. Please continue, Copsey. We need to see where you continue out. Let's get you out. Let's get you going. Goudet, currently in second, is still half a lap down on you. So carry on, my friend. You've got such a commanding lead. Keep it up. Well, we go back to Borgetto. Marshall just has this covered, making a name for himself, and potentially going to get a vote for a driver of the day, because this defensive driving, just calm, collected, keep it online, has been serving him so fantastically well. But look at this, Brown originally looked like he might have an inside line on Giovinazzi. But how's the Alpine in the straight? Not great, apparently, in comparison to the McLaren. But Goudet looking like he's stepping away from this battle, which is going to serve his team, especially if he's handing back to Briggs. Oh! Somewhere we've missed that, so we kept going back to it when Marshall was in control, but somewhere in the middle sector, Borgetto has got past. That is a crucial move, because he has looked faster, just not able to make the move on the straight. So there you go. Borgetto through on Marshall into P7. So we don't really have anything under a second at the moment. Closest about we've got is this one, which is obviously just switched around. And we do obviously have some lingering people at the back. We've got we sit in a Rockfist Racing team, which I'm not quite sure what issues they had, but have found themselves nearly 40 laps down. we're continuing on to try and get the laps in, try and get a classification, which is very admirable. And now we've got Team PCR coming in for their pit. RCR, sorry. And this, if I've counted right, this will be their final stint they should have had to do, but they will have to do another one later on, because this is not within the last 50 minutes. But you can see the gap there. The golden old is not become completely disconnected from RW Racing for the side steps of the podium. Now, a big shout out to Jabino, who so far has actually predicted Copsey for the win of the GT4, which looks like it is very much going to come true. He has controlled 60% of the race so far, 60% being obviously what we've completed. But just a massive gap in quali. He surprised himself with his own pace, but I feel the McLaren, I'm going to kind of feel like tyres are going to be a big problem since the car loves to slide around a lot. And we have seen that with him, McLaren sliding, and he was hoping for a bit of a trolley train, which he very much has achieved this evening. Catch Colpitts having to dive down the inside of Gordon Brown there. As the man we speak about, Jabino, has just dived into the pits for the SGR Racing team. And that should be their final stint length for the day. I'm just trying to check my check sheet of who has completed pits. There's maybe a pit or stop behind. The SGR maybe one to look out for. I know they're currently lingering down in P18 towards the back, but they have completed all of their stint stops. They have pitted the most and are still running reasonably competitive, albeit a few laps down. But you never quite know what's going to happen in the pit stops, especially if you get caught up in traffic, or if you, like Copsey, run into the pit wall. But you do need pace like Copsey to make that not cause too much of an issue. But Colpitts is bringing that down. 2.5 seconds. It was up at nearly 4 seconds at one point. The Golden Old is still yet to commit their final stint stop. I think maybe with a bit of traffic that's just gone up a little bit, but do expect these gaps to fluctuate. Now I can only assume I've missed one of Redline's stops. And I'm only down for one. Now obviously we have lost a few teams along the way. Obviously I can understand, obviously in endurance racing it can be very disincentivizing to have early damage, find yourself a few laps down. Takes a good amount of fortitude to stick it out, like Team RCR and SGR are doing, as well as Gunning Motorsports, who all fell into trouble very early on. But they are soldiering on nonetheless. As we catch that Jabino going to be drifting around there. I think it was just going off wide at turn 4. Car does look like it's done a bit of off-roading. I think WRC is meant to be on Wednesdays. Harvey, let's not let Brown go. I think Brown did drop him off the back for a little while, but Harvey has found his way back. So we've just been catching up with Jabino in the chat. It says his controller stopped working, they had to reset it. So he was slow for about 20 seconds, which is why, unfortunately, he's a bit down in the dumps. Potentially picked up some damage in that time, because he was very competitive at certain points in the race. But you can just see him in the background there being overtaken by the GT2. That's the black Audi of Serpentine. Harvey, the Aston Martin looks nice and shiny now. And Brown wasn't frightened with other challenges that have come his way. He's not throwing the defensive shapes like he was before. He's trying to put his foot to the floor. He wants to leave Harvey behind. And he's missed that first bit of the chicane. But he's managed to make it work anyway. But this is not the section where the Aston Martin is strong. It's probably where he actually wants to let the Audi through. Oh, as we've lost one more off the back. Those might be Wheats that we've lost. Oh, this is Keith Brown. He's sticking wide. What's he going to do about letting the Audi through? He's taking a tie line. He's not wanting to let Serpentine through necessarily. Serpentine hanging it around the outside. He's keeping him in place. Serpentine might be okay with that, but I tell you what, it's Serv Brown there. He's actually let him get an extra few tenths away from Harvey, who I think definitely would have been on the scene. Oh my goodness. Late on the brakes for Harvey, and that's cost him time overall, but it was worth maybe giving Brown a brown pants moment to make him a little bit more cautious about what lines he covers with Richings behind him. As I think we have Wheats returning. But we're going to stick it out with this battle. Brown, so long this race, been fighting over the final podium spots. He got overtaken by Goudet. He let that one slip. Goudet has disappeared off into the distance. But I think Goudet has just been running his own little race now. Unless Copsey has a major issue, like running into the pit lane again. I don't think this is really going to go away from him. I think at this point he's almost a full lap ahead of anybody else in his class. And chat, don't worry, I have seen the gap. Colpitts to Heyman's come down to 2.3 seconds. We are going to keep an eye on it. Come downs anymore, we definitely will give that some attention. Now Harvey, with the extra straight line speed of the Aston Martin, can he force a move here? Can he get just close enough to maybe think what can he do under braking? Here he goes to the inside, but can he get it stopped? He's gone deep. Not even if he's kept it on track. Will the manoeuvrability of the Ginetta allow Brown to make a move back? Yes, he will. But then Harvey has this long straight again, and he's going to find himself to the inside, and he's going to find himself ahead and into the podium. And Brown, with a bit of defensive mastery by Harvey, there's no way for Brown to get through, and I think he's going to have an awfully tough time getting past Harvey on any straights. He's going to have to try and manufacture something in the wiggly bits. I think Colpitts tastes blood. You can see that coming down, but he's had a bit of a scruffy turn there. Bit of bogging down under shifting up. That's going to lose him a bit of time. In fact, I'm losing him a lot of time. We'll see what it is over the line. Yeah, he lost himself about half a second there, messing up with the penultimate turn. Now, I'd be very curious to see if Brown can work anything here. He can't just have a good exit, he needs a better exit than Harvey to challenge. Which, to me, there looks a bit even Stevens. The question is, I think Gooday's maybe struggling a bit now with tyres, because that gap is coming back down. And with more lapping traffic coming through, do we think Goudet will be spooked by it and maybe drop a little bit of time? If they did just see Goudet there getting a little bit slidey around turn 2, it's not going to help his chances. Oh, see the Audi there, I think that was of Smet. Unfortunately not making the move where he wanted to. The middle sector is one where you need patience if you're in the GT2 cars. Potentially through here. But it did look for a moment like Harvey defended it, which is not meant to do. He's not just racing in a different class, he's under blue flags. At this point in the race, you're definitely under blue flags, but he should get him on the exit of turn 11. So a little bit of pain there for Gerrit Smets. We'll be off and away now. But look at the difference it makes when you're Harvey. What you can do if you keep that car between you, there's no way Brown's going to attack the faster GT2 car. But if Harvey's holding him up, then he's maintaining that gap. Oh, as we have a drive-through for track limits for Van der Brecken, it goes even worse for them. So that's another pit that they're going to have to commit to serve that drive-through. There's the gap now between Brown and Harvey, up to nearly 2 seconds. So, seemingly we've got the majority of the GT2 still yet to do another stint swap. And we do have, it's a bit more split in the GT4 series. We've got at least 1, 2, 3, 4 of the cars having done all of their stint swaps, or unless they get timed out and need to do another one. All quite sparse now in the spacing. Copsey, you can see the damage on that front end, even if it is just cosmetic. I think he did fix it when he went to the pits. You know, just to give you an idea of Copsy's lead of the Disruption Racing, he is currently going around turn 3, and G'day is about a third of a lap behind, just going around the final turn, starting that lap. And because they're multiple sectors apart, we're not going to get an apt time difference between them. So Wouter Heymans has driven quite an interesting race today. He sort of held that position all evening. Obviously he had to do a good amount of work in the early stages, but ever since then he's seen off coal pits at various different intervals, either in pits or when the RW Racing team has thrown up a challenge, but he's held on to this very well, and that car looks relatively unscathed. A little bit of dirt from where we've seen him go off track to try and go around back markers. Let's give you an idea where he is to Grace. Grace is currently midway through, about to head into the 767 chicane, no pun intended. And Wouter Heymans is just coming around turn 2. So yeah, a very sizable gap to be considered there, and it would take something quite considerable for that to be undone. So Wouter Heymans, I think you'll forgive me for saying that his fight is very much in making sure Colpitts does not get a sniff in the closing stages. But Harvey, well, we didn't mention this as closing. He is within a second of G'day, but he is going to have to wait for that lapping traffic to move out of the way, and he has done. And G'day now in the Ginetta versus the Aston Martin, straight line lead. I think this is a foregone conclusion. It's going to take some fantastic defence from G'day, because look at the closing speed coming. Oh, the closing speed is so great. Harvey's had to throw it anyway, and through he goes. Great move. It was almost forced into it. It's like watching Verstappen, the final lap of Abu Dhabi. He almost didn't mean to make the move, but he took it anyway because his braking just took him there. And I suspect Harvey will say sayonara around about now, because they'll say, oh, P2. We'll swap positions on the podium, thank you very much. But G'day doesn't look like he's given this up just yet. This is the section where the Ginetta is strong. Like I said, it is an incredibly well handling car. And he's taken the turn 9 much better. But as the speed starts to build, the Aston Martin very much does come into its own. I believe they still take Mercedes engines in their road cars and their racing cars, so when you follow the F1 you know how powerful that is at the moment. Mercedes engine across eras transcends time and speed and offers its drivers all the grunt necessary to knock a star into orbit. I mean, credit to G'day, he's had good pace this entire stint, and he's proven again here, not letting Harvey skip away. And Gibino for SGR Racing into the pits again. His 4th stint change of the evening. It's a tough old night for Serafino Gibino. G'day, I probably wouldn't appreciate that big dive coming on in there, but let it happen all the same, and he's had it done clean enough. Now, one team I reckon I've not really given many attention to this evening, and I will do now, is Geriatric GT, who's been quietly going around in 8th. They're probably the last of the cars that haven't fallen into real trouble during this 3 hours or 2 hours as it's coming round. Yeah, just been plodding along. I've had them down for doing all but one of their stints so far. We are still due one more. And G'day finally has started losing that time to Harvey. So Harvey really cementing this P2 now. What a great drive by Redline Racing, who I think originally were heavily favoured for a strong position here. So yeah, Harvey now just wants to commit to management. He's definitely got the speed to keep G'day behind as long as he wants to. I mean, I think Max Verstappen and a number of other top drivers will tell you, obviously, you push on. There's no point in giving up 10 seconds in your race. If a driver has an issue and you find that you missed out by an opportunity by 10 seconds, you'll kick yourself. But the likelihood of that happening, Copsy's been relatively infallible other than that incident into the pit lane, which I believe was probably a scraper along the outside barrier, not a T-bone into the entry bollard. Oh, as you see, Colpitt's struggling with his tyres there. Not sure everyone saw that. His rear just really fighting for grip there. Yeah, Morgan Grace currently got a lot of clean air, and the next car he's coming up to is lapping traffic for his own class. That's number 27, Budgetto for Redline Rookies. And even after that, he's got a bit more space to go, and got a lot further down the road before he gets anywhere near Smets. So Evangelisti has come out, and we've got a little battle going on here. I didn't mention before that Simcox would have much to fight with, but this is now developed. Evangelisti out is behind Simcox, and it looked from a long way back there like he was going to have a go. This Maserati heavy field finally got a Maserati on Maserati battle. I tell you what, it does look like Redline Rookies have got a very fast setup car underneath them. They're really coming at Simcox hard and fast. Simcox, who I think has been out there for quite a while. There's Simcox, the experience, doing what Brown was doing earlier. Take some wider lines, prove that you're getting better speed, and that should be defence in itself. Ooh, that's not a place you want to make a move, but if you want to fill up somebody's mirrors, that's the way to do it. Wish I had telemetry here. Well, I'll just tell you who's got these downforce going, but I imagine on a track like this, they've probably got maximum downforce. But here goes Evangelisti, swapping side by side. Side to side, I should say. Oh, Evangelisti throwing one in early. That's not the corner to make it unless you've already got the move out of turn 12. Now he's elected for the wider line. Will this give him a faster, easier turn in? It looks good. It looks very, very good. So good. Simcox has gone very early in defensive. The battle for P8 is hotting up. Nose to tail. Evangelisti goes to the inside. Classic tactical move. But can he get it stopped? Looks good so far. And he opens the taps absolutely beautifully. And P8 is now in possession of red line rookies. The rookies overtaking the geriatrics. Couldn't be more poetic than that. There's a little bit of a snap going through turn 3, but I think he'll be fine. So, after the big fight that G'day had with Harvey, and Harvey skipping away, Brown, what was previously a 3-second gap, now down to 1.7, does wonder if he can actually reintroduce himself back to the podium. It was in his grasp for so long, but experience is paying off here, knowing how to drive on what is currently very worn tyres. And now, within 1 second, the time is absolutely tumbling. Has G'day got an issue? Is he damaged? Is he just struggling? I tell you what, coming down this straight, we're about to find out what's what. Will Brown be closer at the end of this straight or further away? And as such is the fear that must be in G'day's heart. He has gone defensive very early on, despite having a good gap to Brown behind. I do think he's struggling, you know. I mean, obviously, chat, if you've been following this the whole way through, this has been a long fought battle for Brown to have this podium or keep it. Let me know if you think he's actually going to find his way onto the final step. As we've got Redline Rookies and Champagne Endurance going in for their final stop. I'm not sure if I've missed a pit stop up front, but I do not remember Smets being that close to Serpentine. Yeah, Smets has really got the bit between his teeth. And we've got car 97. Oh my goodness, Copsey, the lead of the GT4 has got a drive-through. G Harvey pits just as that comes in. This is massive for the race, the GT4. The red line coming in their final stop, and Copsey is going to have to go through the pits 2 more times. This is huge. What seemed to be an unsurmountable lead from Copsey is seemingly just determined to give it away at this point. Now Brown, we told you he was closing. Brown within 4/10 of Copsey, who just had to give way to a McLaren. I can't even work out who that McLaren is. Oh, as he pushes him. Car 44 is Winton, who's a lap down to these guys. Well, that's no excuse for being bumped in the rear. Oh, it's Harvey. Harvey's got to stop go. The top two for this win all of a sudden throws G'day and Brown potentially into a race-winning position. Now, question is, how much time is Copsey going to lose in this next series? But Harvey must be devastated. It is all going up in the air as we enter the final 45 minutes of this 3-hour race. Don't go anywhere. We still have to wait to see how this plays out. But I suspect Copsey is going to fall back, still keep the lead, but be dramatically affected and have G'day and Brown on his rear end. And Brown desperately wants to get past G'day. Oh, and Clayton Redline Racing Team also. Oh, it's going bad for so many. Now all of these have to be served fairly soon. So I think they've served, yeah, they've gone to serve that straight away. And yet, so now we've also got Progetto, Redline Rookies coming in. This will be their final stop. And we've also got, yeah, that's Copsey. We've got a bunch of non-suspect drivers coming, non-challenging drivers coming in as well. Oh, but look at this. Battle for P4. Smets on Serpentine. I told you this was getting closer. I do wonder what is going on with Serpentine for Smets to be coming at him like this. But they are absolutely ragging it. But Smets looks like he's got so much more speed. I mean, Serpentine looks crystal clean. Smets looks like he's been through the wars, but a war-hardened veteran mercenary of Smets is going to get speed here. He's going to go into turn 12. Will he potentially get him cleared? No. But Serpentine has gone a little bit deep, and then they touch on exit of turn 12. In turn 13, it looks like Smets are going to have the outside line. He's going to swing through and ahead, but he's gone deep into the marbles. Can he bring it back round? Can he get into the penultimate turn ahead? They're still side by side. They're going to the final turn. Smets are going to dive to the inside, and he's going to get it. But then we're going to have Serpentine wide on the outside. He may be struggling with overall pace, but he is going to have a faster line out of that turn. He's picked up the slipstream, and surely there's a braking move going on here. He's not going to relinquish this one easily. He's been holding this for way too long. He dives to the inside, takes a very sharp inside line. Surely he can't get that turn. Smets is going to take a cut back, and through goes Smets. Incredible sequence of racing, doing for about half a lap. On the absolute ragged edge, the Audi gets pushed to its limits. Whew. But I think that's all zero. That Smets has got so much extra pace. He's going to start pulling away now. Richings here for the gasoline, is in for the bits. Hopefully they have topped up, as they previously mentioned, and this should be their final trip into the pits. Now we need to be very careful that we don't get any challenges now. So we see Copsey has done his pit stop, and that should be his final round, provided he doesn't have to go in again for the stint timer. But where is G'day? Oh, no, this lead of Copsey's was absolutely astronomical. Unless he has to pit again for the stint timer, he is long clear. But here for the gasoline, who I think said they were originally aiming at Greasy Bandit. I think it was Greasy Bandits. I think they wanted some fuel but maybe they're going in for that now. And Richings rejoins. With a very rogue McLaren in the rear. Winton. A Serpentine pits. Did not think Serpentine needed to pit again, but in he goes. RW Racing. I must have missed a pit of theirs because this should be their final pit. As we have Royalty come into the commentary box. You've had quite an eventful evening.
Loyalty is a strong word. I'm going to just quickly have a look at your screen so we can look at the same things.
So I was just picking up Serpentine going to the pits after a very, very entertaining battle with Smets. Finally bails out and goes into the pits. I suspect Smets is going to have to come in again, but Smets drinking team. So I've been trying to
GT4. Okay.
Yeah, so I suspect Smets will have to come in again based on my pit tracker. So yeah, there's Smets still to come in. So 17 may still have another stab at it, but Smets has had supreme speed and seemingly a better tyre life to get through this. So I suspect the overcut will work just fine for him. But yeah, you had a right battle for I don't know which team you're in now. You were battling over the podium, were you not, in the GT4s?
We still are. Yeah. So it's been fun. I'll be honest. It's been quite a fun race out there today. Where have I been fighting with? Yeah. So I was meant to hand the car back over to Townsend for stint number 3, but I forgot to select him in the MFD. So I ended up doing a double stint by accident. But yeah, it's been good. I think we've been fighting with the Greasy Bandits racing team, 836.
Yeah, so I'm currently watching them. They are currently in the pits. And we've just seen Mia Motorsport of Chris Gedman dive into the pits as well. So,
yeah. And Townsend's coming around the last corner now.
So you're going to get Mia Motorsport. I think you're expected to be ahead of them. And Greasy Bandit is just coming out of the pits now. So we're going to see this one play out.
It's going to be tight.
Oh, this is oh so tight. But I think that G'day has just picked that one. But is his tyres warm? Townsend just on the rear here. Will he carry any speed into this? I think he's found himself about a second down, or maybe just under a second once we get to a time in line. But can he put some early pressure on to G'day to maybe try and interrupt his tyre warm-up?
Oh, that was so close. I mean, that's good. We're about 4 seconds behind before the pit stops there, so we've gained overall. But I think that might... I mean, don't get me wrong, Townsend's been quick. Don't get me wrong. He's actually been a lot faster than we probably give him credit for. Just based on the licenses alone in FRL. But his lap times, he's been maybe 0.2, 0.3 a lap behind me on race pace.
We know the peaks and troughs of Townsend's performance. The highs can be very high at times.
Yeah, he likes his car. He likes this car. This and the McLaren, that's it.
Well, look how he's closing here through the S's. If he gets a good run out of here, we know the Ginetta hasn't been the fastest in the straight line. I don't think he's not quite close enough to move into here, I don't think, but we can move through turn 12, turn 13. He's definitely in shooting distance.
The Alpine's actually been slower, believe it or not, than the Ginetta in the straight line. It's the slowest car in the straight line here. The thing is, the Ginetta almost hits the rev limiter, while the Alpine's got like another gear to go. So it seems to be quicker on this track in a straight line, but you know, if we took it to like say Nürburgring or Bathurst, it would struggle, I think.
But here we go. Here's the first look at it. So we've got Prentice just diving his way through. We're going to jump onto G'day just to see how cleared he is. I think Prentice does the right thing and make sure that G'day's got somewhere to brake, because he hasn't quite cleared him by a full car length or so.
Yeah, that was tight. I think this will go on for a while now. I think Daz will fight him to the end, so I won't be selfish anymore. I'll let you have a look at someone else. Well,
no, it was definitely, it still is the closest battle currently engaged in. So well, I'm quite happy to stay with this one. Obviously, I'm not sure how much you were. I think you were in the car, but we were middle of the middle hour was very sparse, and I think your battle for P3 in the GT4s was what was keeping it alive. It was very settled, but probably was the closest battle that we were covering here. So yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's been intense. I'll be honest. Some of the I'm not going to sit and openly criticise them because I know how difficult it is to overtake around this circuit. There was one situation I had. I was on this part of the track. I was on the far right, and I had two GT2s fighting each other, trying to overtake me into this corner.
I think we actually caught that. I think I was covering the GT2 battle, and then saw you. I wasn't so much concentrating on you, but I was.
It was turn 4. The track messed up. But yes, probably around here as well, let's be honest. It's been all over the place tonight.
Yeah.
It's been good fun. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've managed to keep the nose clean, thankfully.
Do you know, out of everything, the only major incidents we've had, we had Surf and Tane bump somebody into turn 5 under lapping traffic, and we had Coxey actually run into the pit wall on his first inning into the pits.
And they're that far ahead as well. That's crazy.
I mean, it wasn't. He didn't T-bone the entry. I think he just.
Yeah,
he's ridden in the inside of the Armco. But I tell you what, Gooday's getting away here. He's put an extra few tenths in between himself and Townsend. So he's clearly warmed up these tyres now.
Yeah, he's quick. We found that they were quicker over the first half of the stint, and we were pulling them in on the second half.
To be racing now in the pits.
Who is that? Yeah, great. It's like Grace.
That is Heyman's. I think Grace has offset himself a little bit. I think he's due to come in a little bit later because they've still got one more entry to come. But where does this put Coal Pits? So Coal Pits, who's actually got a bit of traffic at the moment. I think Heyman should come out comfortably in front of this, but the Golden Oldies, they are due another tour in, but they're choosing to extend on for now. But I think they will over.
Just a bit of conversation for you. I'd quite like to point this out, right? Adam Sharp has been driving a car with Manchester United colours in it all night. I think he'll be so happy that I've noticed that as well, because I pointed it out on qualifying too. He'll be so happy. He's never out of that blue, black and yellow car for Leeds. So, yeah, he'll be thrilled that we've mentioned that now. So I had to get that in. That's fine.
So actually, he's not currently in the car, is he? Actually,
no, he's not.
Not lost. He was in the Golden Oldies. So
yes, that's why I brought up. Sorry, I completely just I jumped like 4 sentences ahead there. In the
so I've got a little sheet up reminding me of who's with who. But it's quite an extensive sheet, so I have to scan it. It takes me a few seconds.
Fair. That is a fair point. I mean, I have been guessing most of the night. I've been calling, as you've heard, Serpentine Hymans, which I'm sure they'll appreciate. I've called Hymans Simcox a couple of times. Sorry, Marshall Simcox a couple of times. Richards I've called Gedman and vice versa. I've called Jabin. Did you see what happened to Jabino?
I think what hasn't sort of happened to him.
Yeah, so he was what's going on? I'm watching Goody, I think, just now. He's got just behind Wheats and another GT4, I think, maybe? No, it's not, it's a Maserati. He's behind Serpentine, actually.
Yeah, he's behind Serpentine, the Audi, yeah. So, actually, this is something we want to pick back up. So, Serpentine lost that position to Wheats just before the turning of the pits. And I figured he was going to come out with an overcut, maybe about 3 seconds behind. But he hasn't. He's just over a second behind. He's rejoined closer to what he was left when he went into the pits. So
Piconello is only a couple of seconds behind those guys as well. He's not out of this either, this podium fight.
No, and he has been fast. He's been very aggressive in his fights, and I haven't yet to see. Well, we've been sparse. I've not really watched him in clean air, but I suspect he is going to be very fast in clean air, and he is going to catch these guys in no time at all. especially if he gets easy let bys like that from Goudet.
Yeah. You can tell Goody is an experienced endurance driver, the way he kind of moved over to the one side of the track there, just way aggressively, way earlier than you normally would, just to make it crystal clear. Here you go, sir.
And then also planning a slingshot onto the straight.
Exactly. Yeah, he's obviously thought that one through. That was quite good. I have to respect that one.
So Serpentine was clearly. Sorry, I've just seen the gap with Serpentine on Wheats. It did come momentarily down to just 0.3. So I'm not sure. There's a bit of a yo-yo effect going on here with Wheats and Serpentine. I suspect that was going through Goudet. So this is something to really watch, as I think we're a little way off the car 44 of Winton now. So this period now is going to be watching on pure pace for this pack chasing down P2. But now we do have Morgan Grace into the pit for Redline Racing. This is his final stop, and we're going to see exactly where this feeds him out. So currently Colpitts, going on car 37, is currently... So he is going to overtake... He's going to take the lead. And the Golden Oldies...
Oh, no, they're a lap down.
They are... Oh, I mean, wow. And they're still yet to commit another pit.
Serpentine and Picanello side by side into this third last corner.
Oh, yeah, we just picked that up with the crossover.
Sorry about that, to cut you off there. It happened as I spoke, so... I think they're going to come out. Oh no, it's going to be behind that. I thought it was going to be about Jack Prentice.
Oh, and Serpentine going in, so I think Serpentine knows that's not his fight. The RW Racing in. That's their fourth inning. So,
car 27, Picanello, is exactly where Grace is coming out of the pit lane. Yeah, you picked it up. Oh.
So around the outside is not easy there. It's caught him too late in the corner. But he might still have speed coming out of it.
Oh, so blue flags, don't do that. Oh.
So this is a strange situation for Picanello to find himself in here. So Grace is the lead car. This would be him attempting to unlap himself. But he clearly has pace in the car. This current point where Grace might be heavy, he's trying to warm up the tyres. He's going to need about a lap or two. I mean, you've got this on 3 times multiplier. The track is cold, or it's getting colder at least. So the warm-up is not going to be easy for Grace. It's potentially, I wouldn't call it a misstep, but maybe a detriment in his calculation to the warm-up of the tyre in this later phase to actually get this car into a window where he can pull away and defend himself from all things damageable to him. Now he's about to come through this lapping traffic, done well. Picanello is also coming through there as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off, isn't it, when you go in and pit this late. He's going to have fresh tyres and a lighter car, so potentially a quicker car, but as you said, he needs to get those tyres into the right operating window, and that's going to be the tricky part for him. But I think he might have just got some temperature into them now. He looks to have pulled out a little bit of a breathing room, I think, as he comes around that final turn.
It depends, obviously, how much Picanello thinks there's a fight ahead of him to go for, and Grace is weaving for a bit of warmth.
Aggressively warming those tyres, I think. I don't think that's defensive.
They're definitely not defensive. He's got no need. He shouldn't have any real need to defend.
Yeah.
But all the same, personally, I'd be flashing away that I'm really not keen on drivers weaving that closely across my nose, but it probably wouldn't find its way to the steward's room as much as it would upset me.
Yeah, tricky one for sure. I think we've got a couple of situations brewing in the sort of the mid-pack of the GT4s there. Clayton, I think, just got past Gedman and just unlapped himself on Copsey. He's absolutely flying out there, and I think he's got maybe 25-30 seconds to Townsend to catch. And knowing Clayton, he might actually have the pace to do that.
That's a great story developing. So we've got 26 minutes left of this race, plus whatever lap Grace wants to start towards the end.
So my calculations, I think I counted out 94 laps when I done my sort of strategy work. So give or I think it's round about 94, so 10 laps out. Does that look about right? 80. Oh, that's GT. I'm thinking GT4. Sorry.
I mean, you might be right, but obviously for the GT4s.
Yeah. The GT2s might be completely different. They're about 8 seconds a lap difference, so I think we're talking round about maybe 3-4 laps.
I mean, you're 5 laps as the GT4s. You're 5 laps. Well, Copsey is 5 laps down. Everybody else is at least 6. So yeah, potentially just shy of that, maybe 94.
Yeah, that looks about right. We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Obviously, your laps are going to be cut short by, because you're not really in control of it. So, Piccanello is now 3.2 seconds behind Wheats, and I do just want to try and get a read on this gap that Wheats has to Colpitts.
Yeah, Colpitts is quite substantial, I think. 30 seconds.
As we've just caught Wheats knocking into Gunning.
Missed that one.
Just a minor tap, nothing too alarming, but, well, alarming from a commentary point of view. I imagine it was plenty alarming for Gunning.
Yes. I quite like this. I'm watching side by side from my video and yours, and I've got the same car, different camera angles. That's quite cool.
That's how me and it's how me and Jack did it in our season together.
Oh, crash! What was that car? 590.
590. Oh my goodness! He still seems to be going. So Piccanello's finally decided to let himself through.
Colpitts off. Turn 1.
Oh, it's all happening now. So drivers starting to get a bit of mental fatigue dropping in here. You remember Kimi Antonelli in China? That little half spin? It's all the mentality. I said, as much as we all like to believe we're professionals, this league, we are just casual racers at heart, all just trying to do our best on our evenings off. And the mental will get to them. We are not professionals. You might, well, that slight asterisk next to Jared Vermeulen, but but we are all amateurs.
Does he get paid?
I don't know. I don't know how monetized his YouTube is.
No, well, I think he needs 500 minimum, so I don't know what his YouTube is. But we don't pay him, so he's at least semi-pro. He's not professional. He's at least semi-pro.
But as we're getting flashing from Grace on Piccanello, which is fair, if he's barged his way through.
Yeah, I think Ashley Gunning maybe made contact with the two of them. I'm not too sure. Just looking at the positions on track.
He's letting it back through with not really much of a fight. So. Yeah. So I think that was maybe an overtake through circumstance rather than Piccanello actually trying anything.
Yep. I think.
But this isn't helping Piccanello with Wheats, though, is it? This is this back and forth with Colpitts. I mean, Grace does not need to push. So Piccanello's kind of between a rock and a hard place. He definitely knows that Grace is fast enough to take him to Wheats, but if he's not willing to do it, then what's he going to do?
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, I'm just thinking. I actually don't think Grace drives like that, to be honest. I think he's quite, he'll just sort of go in his own little world and just drive at his speed. He won't be thinking, oh, I need to preserve this. I've got a huge lead. I can just drive 2 seconds a lap slower than everyone else, and I'll still win. He will not be thinking that at all. He will just keep driving and driving and driving and driving.
So yeah. Sorry, whilst we've got just a little bit of a gap, and I've got you in the comms box, just overviewing what you can see on mine, you mind just keeping the stream company while I dispose of my Monster Energy drink that I've been downing during this stream?
Yeah, you go and empty the situation, and I will keep the seat warm just now.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll be back momentarily.
Wahaha, he's left me on my own. What chaos can I cause? I have no control over the stream. I'm just going to speak about what I can see on the screen. So right now we are watching Piccanello. He's coming round turn 5. I want to say potentially. I don't know if you guys you guys can't see what I can see. I've got picture going on just now. He's now approaching the back off. I think that's Luke Richings. It is indeed. It's Luke Richings. He's approached the back off Picanello. So you need to navigate this car fairly quickly as Richings maybe feels the pressure a little bit. Of course, the GT4s do have the right off way to the racing line as Picanello finally picks his way through. And he can continue his charge onto the back of Nicky Weitz, the car number 2 Audi, the only Audi preventing the Maserati whitewash off the podium. What other action? I'm just trying to keep an eye on the things that may be developing for you guys. Nicky Weitz is approaching the back of a lapped car, so that's not something we need to be overly concerned about just now.
And just like that, my drive-through is over. I was listening to you the entire time, so yeah, not too much going on. Obviously, some drivers still obviously pushing through the GT4 class, just trying to keep that clean. Obviously, the light is descending behind the trees, and we're trying to make sure that everybody still sees the light through the trees, and no unfortunate circumstances that isn't racing befalls the racers, because that would be such a shame. Incidents with who you're fighting with is one thing, but what we don't want to see is interclass ruining for no reason. Which, to be fair, it hasn't. I think the only ones we can really point to today was Serpentine at Turn 5, and obviously the incident we didn't see with Picanello and with Grace and Gunning, which all drivers seem to file away from that without too much bother.
I have it on good authority that we might be expecting a couple of tickets in for Turn 1. I wasn't here for it, but I believe these there was names mentioned, but I think there's a mistaken identity going on. There's a car that left the server quite early. I think they may be the culprit, so maybe a bit more steward's work going on. You mentioned the light reducing. Something to point out as well, obviously the temperature's now dropped down to 12 degrees, it's getting a lot colder. And I wonder if just all of the drivers have maybe contemplated that with their final stop.
So
sure we've got the pressures right.
So ones that I've got down for a final stop, I think Golden Oldies are still due a final stop, as are number 2 car Wheats, the Smeets drinking team. They are due another one. This is obviously all based on my ticking of my little sheet. And in the GT4, car 126, which I think is still here.
Nope, they're gone.
They're gone. And we'll call 121 of Gunning, who obviously hasn't had too much luck this evening, but he is due to pit one more time. As well as 97 Disruption Copsey. He has still got another one to do, I believe, just because he not only had, I think he had 2 drive-throughs, and he's still a lap ahead.
Yeah, he's been crazy quick, to be honest. I think he's been the favourite to win this from the beginning, from the original cancelled race back in January. He's been the favourite. Morgan Grace.
Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, you've got the back end of that, yeah.
I just saw that in the background.
He's just lapped Nicky Weitz. It's just crazy. He's lapped everyone. He's lapped the podium.
Well, he's going to, definitely, because Golden Oldies have got to come in again. By my calculation, anyway. I may be completely wrong.
And I think he's about to come up to the back of Copsey, probably by the end of the straight, I think, with such as the speed difference in that Maserati. Maybe not. I overestimated.
I think it will definitely be by turn 4. But Nicky Weit's very aggressive on the back of Grace there. He actually compromised his turn. Oh, no, I was wrong. Through turn 2.
All it takes there is a little bit of understeer, and we've got disaster.
Yes.
So fair play for getting round there well. I definitely would not be sending it down the inside of turn 2 on a GT4 car, but that's me.
No.
That's
We
fine,
have seen a
that's on
few
them.
of the class on class moves this evening where people have decided to run their other opponents out out onto the marbles, which is all fair in my opinion, provided they've obviously got themselves to the apex first and kept all drivers on track. It's a corner which, if you don't play your cards right, and I think you exemplify. I commented on you quite a lot in the sense that when you had who it was behind you, you were taking a wide line round turn 2 and turn 5. I think that you found that faster.
So, turn 5, I accidentally found was faster. Turn 2 was understeer. Driver error, that one. I found, the last couple of laps before I pitted, I only just found out that shifting down to first kept the nose tucked in, which is something I wish I realised at the start, but it's just one of those things you pick up after
But I
the
tell you what,
practice.
one thing that we really haven't been picking up on, Picanello, Red Line Rookies, 2.5 seconds to Wheats. That
Gap's been closing, yep.
it has been closing. It's not quite fire in your pants just yet, but I mean that's another tenth and a half that's just come out of Wheats there. With 50 minutes to go, that is not unachievable.
It was 4 seconds when you left me in charge of the controls.
So
it's coming down.
At that rate of knots, we're going to have a fight on our hands, possibly within the last 3 laps.
That's an incredible metaphor. I have to give you that one. That was brilliant. I think one thing that may actually happen over the next couple of minutes, if the drivers, you mentioned mental fatigue, we're going to see a lot of drivers maybe begin to struggle with track limits. We've been nursing 3 track limits in Turn 1 sim racing for about.
Oh, Nicky Weeks is not having a great time getting past this Aston Martin here, and that is of Clayton. Clayton, who's down in P4 in the GT4 class, has not been particularly kind to Nicky Weeks here. Oh, and he's still sort of staying on his outside. Now, Picanello is going to have the better rub of the green here. He's going to catch Clayton at a slightly better time, not fantastic time. He's going to have to back off into turn 11. But the shootout here is at this time is going to have massively come down. He's well in earshot now. That looks like under 8 tenths, do we think? 7.5 tenths. Picanello to Wheats. This is on. My calculation for the last 3 laps is shot. We are here, guys. Picanello fighting for the podium for the GT2 class. It's been a long time coming. Picanello has kept his nose relatively clean, apart from that one incident with Grace and Gunning, but he has come back. And Wheats is already feeling the heat. He's already gone defensive. He's weaving across the track. He's included a little bit of grass, kicking up some dirt in the face of Picanello. But that's not deterred him. The Audi is a speed demon. He has turned in quite tight and early. Picanello taking another wide line. Oh, but he's got a bit of a snap of a rear.
Oh, I found a tight line on the exit of turn 1 to be significantly quicker. If you take a tight line and straighten the car up and then get the foot down, your traction that you gain was just far superior to the keeping the corner speed up. So maybe that could be something. I mean, he can't hear us, so if I was going to give him any advice, that's what it would be. But yeah, it's just right now it's looking. If I was a betting man, I think it goes on Red Line Rookies to take this final podium spot.
But track position is key. With only so many laps left, it's far from over. I mean, Wheats is no slouch, and he does have the top line speed of that Audi to protect him, provided he keeps everything clean, he keeps his exits without slip. There's no reason that he can't use tactics to defend this.
Yep, and I am absolutely terrified because the next GT4 down the road is Townsend, about 3 corners ahead of this, and that's, I think, hopefully won't come into play, but I am now very nervous watching this unfold. I hope it doesn't go to that. I hope it goes beyond then, to be honest, right to the end. But
I mean, one thing I have noticed about Picanello is that once he's in 1 second, he's been a different driver completely. He's been so clean and so crisp when he's out by himself. But the second he gets behind someone, it's like he's supercharged. He goes on the limit. But look at that Audi.
Here we go again. Into turn 1.
But the Audi's got so much. He's really planned that exit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tactically done that. See,
It's something that I've tried to do on occasion. That I've tried to employ myself. It's one thing, obviously, you moving to break the slipstream, but if you actually do it straight out the corner, you don't give your opponent an opportunity to get into it early. They still have to turn the corner and get into where you've gone, rather than if you do it later on down the straight just to break a toe. So very effective what Wheats is doing.
And you can see though already that gap right back down again. The twisty section in turn 1 has just brought that Maserati with its superior rotation back into contention. A mistake there from Wheats on the exit of 4.
Oh, there's contact! One of the biggest incidents we're going to see this evening. But he's still going.
And drive through.
Oh my goodness!
Totally off topic.
That is released. Any worries that Townsend had from behind are now dissipated. I think the gap was quite significant anyway, but
I think Chris Gedman's eyes have just lit up. I can actually hear him across 2 parties just screaming.
So Picanello are going to have to redo a lot of this work. 1.2 behind here.
Oh, it's intense, but now that Audi's got maybe a little bit loose diffuser on the back. Might impact his traction out off that final corner. It might be a bit of a foregone conclusion, but of course the front end of the Maserati might also now be struggling too. And you mentioned there about moving over to the right really early. That's exactly what the Audi's done.
No, just got to make sure in his efforts to do that, he doesn't break traction and over-rotating the car. He might get so enthralled in this battle that the tactics that he's using might start affecting what is ultimately the fastest driving line. As Clayton now goes into the pits to serve that drive-through at the earliest possible opportunity.
I'll keep an eye on the gaps there. We've got Gedman and Richings who.
So Gedman currently. Gedman's just coming around the final turn.
It's just a drive-through. Remember, it's not a stop-go, so it's only about 40 seconds, 45 seconds you lose here. I think.
But here he comes.
Might have it.
Oh, it's going to be awfully close.
He's not.
But can he get up to speed? Oh my god, it's going to be close. Oh my goodness, Gedman almost had that. Oh, cold tyres. Long warm-up.
There's the Aston Grunt.
Clayton scrambling for tyre temp. But this is a battle that's going to go all the way to the end. The battle for P4. Yeah, Clayton really struggling. I mean, he's not changed tyres. His tyres won't be cold per se, like he's just come out of the blankets. But they definitely will have cooled. Maybe gone to the dirty marbles of going into the pits. But, Picanello's through. Oh, but then he's been tapped. Caught up behind. Caught up behind Gedman. I think that is. No, Townsend. Caught up behind Townsend. We're going with board with Townsend.
Just driving a straight line, Daz. Just driving a straight line.
Oh no, he's like... Oh my god, he's ontoed himself. Oh no, I'm with the wrong people. But Wheats... Oh, he's taken the line that he's been doing the last so many times, but Picanello is through.
Wheats tried the Mika Hakkinen into Spa line.
Oh, but no! Look at this! Look at this! Wheats has got to run! He's on the outside! Picanello's going to keep it. If he wanted it tight, but he's not going to get it. Wheats is going to have the inside line. And I think we said Jazzman's name too many times, and he has appeared. He's not even racing.
It's like Beetlejuice.
And then Picanello's taken an awful bump over turn 4. And then Wheats has gone and dived down to the inside, but then that speed's taking him a little bit wide. But can he get a cut back? The final stages, we always knew it was going to come together towards the end. The question is, what pace does Wheats have to keep a hold of a release Picanello? Because it does look like Picanello's settled now. I think he's going to see one more attack off the Audi. If you can see off one more attack, I think that's him clear. I don't think Wheats has the tyres to fight this.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So if we
think
go
that's
back, and I think, oh my goodness,
There's cars all over the place right now. That's Gedman.
there's Gedman with a Maserati behind him.
Is it Picanello? No.
P7, no, Silvestri.
Oh, no way!
I tell you, guys have got some faith in each other.
There is going to be a few choice Scottish dialect words in that party chat after that one.
But yeah, look at this. Clayton, who obviously had to see off a fight from Gedman, now 3 seconds clear. Drive through for Serpentine. Simcox is going to love that.
Simcox is nearly just cleared Townsend out into turn 1. Oh, no. Oh.
He always got it done.
Oh. He's not happy. You can see the lights flashing.
I'm assuming that was a bit of a dive bomb that got thrown there.
Yeah, I'm biased. I'm obviously watching some different footage at the same time.
Commentary's not meant to be biased,
buddy. I'm going to have to go
buddy.
back and maybe guide him through and maybe coach him through this give him some counselling for the last couple of minutes. He's got no one behind him, thankfully. So that might be the end. Sorry, go on, Serpentine.
The Serpentine's, got to go into the pits very soon. And how much time's lost in the pits here for Serpentine? Because the Simcox is going to be right in the window for this. He doesn't want to finish last out of the real runners.
I thought it was normally for about 40 seconds, but obviously that didn't happen with Clayton and Gedman, so maybe it's a little less than that. This might be a lot closer than we thought.
So
only a couple of corners between
Serpentine's elected he's not got in this time, so he's going to take it right down to the flag. Maybe he thinks he's still got a bit more pace in it.
I mean, you need to be careful. You can still get track limit warnings when you've got a drive-through pending for track limits. That's still possible. And if he walks up another 3, he will actually be disqualified from the session. And that's not something that we decide, that's something the game decides.
I tell you what, Wheats has not dropped off. Oh, he has now. He's finally gone outside 1 second, but he'd maintained underneath 1 second for a further 3 laps after he got taken. So, but no, that car looks like an absolute dog now. It's wagging its tail all over the place.
Yep. Only car I think ahead that could maybe shift that one would be Ashley Gunning. He's a couple of corners ahead. Grace has just managed to squeeze past him. That's going round turn 5 just now, but I don't think it's going to come into play.
I think Wouter Hames has got a bit more blue flags to clear, a few more GT4s to move out of his way, and that is car 44 of Khalil, who's done a good thing there and gone wide and given Hames the line. And he just almost decided to give himself a bit of grass on the way into turn 6 and 7. I think Wheats is surviving on the back here just through sheer willpower and Audi grunt.
Hopes and dreams. So
Serpentine going round again.
Oh, bold.
So
1 lap left. He'll need to go next lap.
And then
I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of going as long as you can. You never know what can happen, as long as he makes sure he gets through that pit lane.
So question is, if we go to Simcox, just wait to see his time coming across the line. Is it a matter of him maintaining track position and extending over Simcox? So we'll wait to see Simcox come across the line here now.
Once again, not being held up. Good driving.
So it actually has extended by a second and a half. So Serpentine, I think, is doing the right thing here, provided he doesn't miscalculate when he needs to come into the pits. He should keep that.
He must go in this lap. He must go in. 2 minutes remaining. 2-minute warning.
So yeah, this is, if anybody needs to pit for anything at all, then now is your last chance, realistically.
So Copsey is about to be caught by 2 GT3s. That's Marshall and Silvestri, who are within a second of each other for position. Well, 2 seconds of each other, my apologies. And lights flashing in the background there.
I mean, Silvestri, one hell of a drive. I mean, he on the end of lap 1, he was plumb last. he had an awful start, dropped right back through the GT4s, and yeah, he's had to fight his way all through them. He'd cleared them within 3 laps, and ever since then he's come from the back of the GT2 class, and now he's fighting one of the cars that is actually amongst, the cars that have been unhindered.
Yeah, he's very quick. We knew that in qualifying, to be honest, when we watched him. Final lap now, of course. Just
he's all over him. This is far from over. He's pushing Marshall along, and now he's going to find his way to the inside of the chicane. Is he really going to try this? Oh my God, he's trying it. He's gone to the inside. Oh, what a slip through. Oh,
fantastic
my word.
Move.
Incredible move. Marshall flashing for some reason.
Oh, that he's flashing because of a little thing called sour grapes. I think he's been done on the braking. It's not a dive bomb. He's got himself alongside before the turn-in.
Oh, as Serpentine comes out, and I completely miscalculated it. Simcox goes through. So
yes, he's worked out ahead of him. Yep, it's worked well. He's worked well.
And he only has to defend that for a lap.
He's got a big enough gap as well. So I think Marshall and Silvestri might be the closest fight. Is Marshall into the pits?
Is
fuel?
What?
Miscalculated fuel, perhaps?
Potentially.
I see what he's doing. No, he's not. I don't. What's he doing? He must have miscalculated fuel.
I'm lost.
Yellow flags out there for car 215.
For 5, Serpentine. So from bad to worse for Serpentine, off into the grass. He's had an awful evening, for instance. And around that same corner, he crashed into somebody earlier. But Morgan Grace led this from start to finish, completely unhindered, never relinquished the lead, not even through the pits. And here he goes, consistently a lap ahead, 100 laps of absolute perfection. Colpitts coming up behind him, a lap down with Picanello, who did great to come from the mid-pack of the GT2s to come and finish this. Nicky Wheats, unfortunately to come off the podium at the end. What about Copsey? He's got a lot further to go. He's only just in the first sector there. Silvestri. Oh, and as Gedman comes home for a P5 with Richings P15 and Gunning P16. And Silvestri getting that position from Martial. And, well, do you know what? I was debating all day.
In the pits as well.
Have we just got a few people who have miscalculated?
He's taken the flag, I think. So I think he's locked out with that one, but he's sitting in the pits already.
My
guaranteed second.
And Copsey, I mean, I'd have loved to have seen what he'd have done in the GT2 class, and to see because both him and Grace were absolute class of the field, and he's going to come home for, like Grace, an absolute dominant win, even with a crash into the pit lane and a drive-through, a lap ahead. What
I would
on
like
earth?
to have seen what Clayton did without an incident at the start. He would have been right up there, Clayton and Harvey. The 589 car, they would have been fantastic as well. They were so fast in qualifying. But it's been fun.
It's been very, very fun. Obviously, with all endurance racing, we do have peaks and troughs in. Marshall. So Marshall went into the pits and then came back out. So he must have had fuel issues. Must have done.
Yeah, and last across the line to take the flag.
So, what an absolute fantastic evening of motor racing, and thank you everybody for bearing with me while I dusted off the cobwebs after 2 seasons out of the commentary booth. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Sorry to cut you off very quickly. Thank you very much for coming on. If you want to just jump on to Silvestri just now, you've got 2 cars in the same team. They're running information around the track. It's a nice image. If you can get that for me. Yeah, that's the 2 of them there. They done really well tonight, to be fair. They done very good. But yeah, like as you said, I cut you off there rudely. I shouldn't have. Yeah, thank you very much for coming out of your hiatus to take part in this. Well, to commentate the entirety of the 3-hour race. It's been really good to have you do it. I'm looking forward to watching the bits back that I have not commentated on with you. It's my first time being in the commentary box with you as well, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I can see why you liked having a partner for so long.
I'm a conversationalist. I don't talk to myself that often unless I'm having a bad day.
Yeah, more bad days than good, unfortunately. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a lot easier to do this with two people. 100% agree.
But no,
I'll let you round everything up as you go. Just
oh
now.
no, I was going to see if you had any prelude to the season.
I actually don't, for the first time ever. We've got. I mean, let's go for it. Next Sunday we're back live again. We'll get to see both of us on the track. Same time.
Same time with the same tier, but both yeah. And we're in the same tier, me and you, aren't we now? For Sunday, both in. I know
it's
you.
8:00 start, isn't it?
God, we should know this.
You did it for 2 years.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, we're live from 8 o'clock next week. We'll have Jack Prentice in the commentary box. He will be calling the action in tier, I'm going to call it Server 1, where we have Pro and Silver, and for the first time in a long time, I think maybe 10 seasons, the AM drivers will have their own server, up to 40 cars on that grid. In Server 2, and Andrea Mattiavielli will be providing the soundtrack to that one. So we're going to have two streams concurrently running at the same time next week. It's going to be quite a spectacle, to be honest. Sprint racing, of course, 25 minutes for race 1, 45 minutes for race 2. A little bit longer than last season.
Ooh, we like that.
Race 2. Yeah, the reverse grid race 2 returns as well. Gives you a bit more time to try and pick your way through the field, or unfortunately for us in Silver, to try and hold on to the high positions as the pro drivers fly through the field.
Well, that's the thing. One thing I don't think we've necessarily picked up on, that reverse grid is happening in a faster server by definition, because you've split the servers. There is no bottleneck at the front anymore. There's much less significant bottleneck at the front of the grid. So now you've essentially got silver drivers, what would have been silver drivers, potentially starting at the front of the grid by default, which I think is an absolutely fantastic prospect in Server 1.
Yeah, you end up with the race, the pace delta between P1 and whoever's last is going to be a lot less. I mean, Jazzman's still going to be there, so it's going to be at least a second and then something else, but it's going to be maybe 2.5 as opposed to 4.5, 5 seconds. Obviously, that difference in speed can cause a lot of accidents, especially in braking zones, which, I don't know if you've watched Jazzman on board before, he is an absolute weapon on that brake pedal. And I chose my words carefully there. I know I'm live. Yeah, the ground he can gain on that brake pedal is huge. Now, he's got a lot of experience, and he can usually anticipate when someone is going to be significantly slower on the brakes than him, but there's a lot of drivers who maybe don't have the same experience that he has in that position, so it tended to cause quite a lot of incidents. But now obviously you're going to have silvers who are going to be the slowest drivers on that grid, and they only, I mean, I think we define silver as about 102% of the lap record that we hold, give or take. I think it's about that anyway, so it's not actually that big a difference. It's only a couple of seconds. Like round here tonight, what GT2s were in 140 somethings, 145. It's maybe a second and a half round here. It's not a lot. So the pace delta is going to be very close on Sundays. I think it's going to create some fantastic racing. But even again in the AM server as well, it's the same situation. You're going to have less of a pace difference between the front and the back of the grid, so it's going to be a lot harder for those guys in both servers to get away from the back to the front in race 2. And I'm relishing the prospect of watching them all back, to be honest. Not
I mean,
taking part, but
I mean, in a server long ago, I definitely campaigned for never trying to manufacture race results, and I don't think this is definitely not that. But you can tell the setup of it is going to give people who maybe never would have had an opportunity in FRL to get a race win, get a podium, be at the front of the grid, to really start to excel. And I think that is absolutely a fantastic prospect, and I'm so happy to hear it being commented over once again. And obviously we've got Taco Tuesday, which is potentially an all-time high attendance. Is it? We've got
Not all time. It's a high. It's been about a year and a half. I think our peak is 122 we had signed up.
Wow.
We're not quite there yet. I think we're just under 90 now. I will need to check, to be honest. I've been concentrating on this tonight. I've not even looked at it for the past 5 days. But yeah, I think it's been it's the most well attended one in the last few seasons, that's for sure. And I think again, the prospect of having a broadcast every week is a huge factor in that one. Again, the Pro and Silver drivers, they'll have broadcast. We don't have the facility or the staff to broadcast to the other server, unfortunately. This season, last year's was done as a volunteer work, of course. So I don't know how it's going to go. We'll see how it goes. I think everyone's got an opportunity to prove themselves with tackle. You're around drivers of similar ability at all times. That's what you're compared against. So you'll always be able to wheel people around you. I think that gives you the opportunity to improve your wheel-to-wheel stuff. And I think you mentioned earlier on about not manufacturing race results. And between sort of those two series, we don't want to manufacture them artificially, like i.e. the reverse grid, but we also want to help drivers sort of progress themselves. Like we know that a lot of new drivers come from here from other sims, and they're not the same. It's a completely huge learning curve, and I think if they don't get all that opportunity, they join an open lobby and it's chaos, or they join a SimGrid daily race and they get aliens. So I think having that setup, it does allow drivers not only to have fun but progress themselves as well. And I guess that's kind of what we're all about here.
Yeah, and obviously that's a great reflection on FRL, that obviously you have this setup that allows for. I'm a big advocate, as you know, for stewarding people into the right direction, into pairing people into the right servers, etc. And obviously, when people are so much more incentivized when they get to see what happens on screen, either through their own replays or through commentary, which is great. And obviously, I'd like to do a big shout out to FRO in general for obviously to continue to provide obviously sim racing's best stuff that's out there, and obviously you as well, Gordon, for setting up this fantastic off-season event.
I'll hold my hands up. This is not me. Morgan Grace, Fix, and Jabino setting this up all themselves. Like this has been all on them. I am very against organising insurance driver swap races. There's so many things can go wrong, and it just doesn't look fantastic. But these two guys have done an amazing job. We had obviously some difficulty back in January. It was a G Portal problem. I'll be completely honest. I would love to take the blame for that one, but G Portal done us over that day. We've managed to reorganise it all. We've had a reasonably well turnout considering the reputation hit we probably took over the last one. It was very fun tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you are looking for more multi-class action, our Thursday night series has GT2s and M2s as well. There's still spaces available there.
Fantastic. So yeah, so that brings our sort of evening to a close. We've covered all bases for ACC. So if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe to the stream, share it with absolutely everybody. Anybody, if you've got any motoring enthusiasts in your family, whether it be real life or sim, get them involved, get them watching, whether it be just watching the commentary or engaging in the Discord or racing. And obviously, if you want to progress, Sean.
Very quickly, drive off the day.
Oh, now this was I was stuck between Marshall or Silvestri, because Marshall drove with absolutely no fear in sticking to his line throughout. He had so much pressure, he just stuck to his line and he was unpassable in that Mercedes. But Silvestri, like I said, hit such trouble early on and came back and beat Marshall. So I think I've just answered my own question. I think it has to be Silvestri for the pure mountainous effort he had to put in to overcome and come back to where he did.
We have different recollections of that driver's evening, but yeah, I mean that's a fair point. From sitting in a driver's seat, I find it hard to look past what Grace and Eden did today. Like, that is flawless performance from those two up front. And again, it feels like a cheat to give it to the leaders, but Copsey as well. It's just absolutely relentless. Harvey and Clayton came through from the back after being crashed into in turn one to finish. I think they were fourth, fifth.
So are you happy to put that to a vote in the server with those names?
Let's go. Who did we say there? We had Silvestri.
So Silvestri,
We'll do the
Marshall.
cars. I can't remember the car names. Redline. Was it Redline rookies? They're both called Redline. It's so confusing.
No, I've lost it all. So Redline was
Silvestri.
Marshall, Silvestri, Harvey, Clayton, Copsey, and and Redline.
We'll say Eden. Morgan doesn't get a shot because he's an admin. That's how it goes.
Fair enough.
We'll give it to Eden then. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll put that in the Discord later on, and remember, you guys can vote on that one as well. Please do. And I'll never let you round things out at the end. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Right, so thank you everybody for being engaged as much as you have been. Seen some great numbers popping up, and make sure you've hit the notification bell, and we'll see you all servers and commentary starting on Sunday, 8 p.m. See you then. Bye.